Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday. You guys ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow? Because you know I'm not. Ugh. I didn't do anything. I haven't gotten my turkey, my sides. I've done nothing. So, yeah, I like to torment myself and end up the day before rushing about. So I hope you guys are better than me. I'm actually going to go to the farmer's market today, I think, and grab some things that I need, some veggies. And listen, I don't like Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'm the only person out there that really just does not like Thanksgiving. The Wandering Sub, Pristine, Gary, Angie, Blissful, LMP. I did see Ronnie up here, Angie Brooks, Just a Chatter, Fiddle Dee Dee, Copa, Laura Lulo. It's good to see all of you. Sweet Melissa, I followed this case religiously. I will never understand how you could do such a despicable act. Yeah, I followed it as well. The same way. I mean, I was deep in the island. Hey, Kayla, Amy. I can't believe that Cadle came out with another book. I'm like floored by this. Hey, Selena, One Red Rose. It comes with age prepping. Hey, Blissful. Well, maybe. Yeah. Forget about it, right? I just don't like it. Hey, October Shug, so I try to avoid it. Jason, I like it. It's just allowing to be very overwhelming. Yeah, I don't. Are you getting a pre-cooked meal? I wish I could have gotten a pre-cooked meal. That would make my life a lot easier. But you know, listen, I cook and nobody eats anyway. Does anybody else cook dinner and your kids don't even eat it? I can't be the only one. And I feel like we're not turkey people. We're not stuffing people. Um, I do mashed potatoes all I don't care for it. My pie crusts are broke. Ah, I wonder if you can patch it out. Or cook it broken. Who the hell cares, you know? You're gonna cut it and break it anyway. You're not a fan either? Good. Okay. I'm not alone here. Yes. Charlene Cadle came out with another book, once again exploiting Shanann, Cece, Bella, Niko. And her first book was I can't believe this woman has any credibility or audacity. Hold on. There you go now. I mean, how do you have the nerve, right? How do you have the nerve? Hey, Chanley. I was in this community when this, excuse me, case was big, but I did follow it on Reddit. There's a lot of Shanann hate there. There's a lot of Shanann hate here, too. So Watts Island was divided. It was divided by two. You were either a hardcore Shanann or you were Chris Watts, right? So I think, what did they, gosh, you're going to take me back today. I forget what they used to call the Shanann fans. Oh, wait. I wonder if this red blinking light means that this mouse is going to die. That won't be good. Can I use it while you charge? I don't know. Hey, Solo. Good morning. Cadle cannot even construct a proper paragraph. The truthers, the shiners. There it is, the shiners. You weren't allowed to say anything at all, even remotely negative about Shanann without literally being, you know, it was crazy. It was wild time. Myself got a RSV. Works out though. We didn't have the gas money to get my in-laws on. Oh, I'm sorry, Blue. I hope you guys feel better. Heard negative things about her book. Never read it. I won't read it. Annie is okay. I refuse to read it. I read her first one. She literally took from other people. I will not read this one. I got the basis of it, the gist of it, and it's the same bullshit. That's all it is. The same bullshit. A matter of fact, what Cadle does, okay, is she takes some of the YouTube rumors and tries to confirm them. Hey, Texas, good morning. It is. It is. I'm gonna pull it up for you. So that is how she operates. She's one of those people that like she heard it on YouTube, so she's gonna try to make it into like some type of conspiracy truth. And oh, it's just such a joke. She is such a joke. It's $3.99 on Kindle. I wouldn't spend your money. Basically, she elaborates on the hey Zoomer. She elaborates on the YouTube rumors. She tries to bring credibility to them, which is ridiculous. She claims that Nicole Kessinger actually met the girls at a park with Chris. She claims that Chris and Nicole had relations on the kitchen counter inside Shanann's home. And there was nothing worth writing down. That wasn't in the book, thankfully, but that's the type of stuff she would spread. Hey, Julie. My family does prime rib too on Christmas night. Ooh, prime rib. That sounds good. Yeah, so it was a lot of unnecessary things to kind of rehash. I mean, talk about trying to come out from the shadows and gain some relevancy again. It's like, just lady, give it a rest. She made her YouTube her YouTube tours during her first book. And there's pretty much nothing different here. Hey, Gladys. So I'm going to play a little bit of it. Sorry, give me 1 second. That's weird. I do apologize. 1 second. Okay, that might be right. First off, does anybody believe anything Cadle ever came out with? Does anybody believe the conspiracies and rumors that she spread? I know there was a lot of argument that the story that Chris gave when he confessed, that his confession was based off another woman's dreams. And then we had the whole armchair detective whose channels were removed. He was removed from YouTube rather recently. We had his whole conspiracies with the shadows that he actually stole off another woman who passed away. That woman was first to discover the shadows. He took that information. I think she was a mod or a friend of the channel, and he made it like he discovered the shadows, that the girls were alive. And then we had the Miss Mensa of the world, right? Miss Mensa's group, and they were the for sure anti-Shanann crew. Nobody really believes her. Okay, so yeah, she made her rounds. She did make her rounds on YouTube. She certainly did. She certainly did. And the more rounds she made, the more. Do you guys remember when she was on Alex's channel and she claimed that she was getting a phone call from Chris's sister with breaking news? Does anybody remember that? Hey, burnt popcorn. Hey, tattoos. Oh my gosh, how weird is he wearing Chris's jerseys? Get it together. Like, what are you doing? Hey, Gene, it's good to see you. He is literally wearing Chris's jerseys. He has become really good friends with the Watts family. You believe that was Blether trolling her? I was wondering if she was trolling all of us, to be honest. Yeah, so there was that situation. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a charger for this mouse before it dies. Hey, East Coast. Just 1 moment. I will BRB. Let me see if I have a video to play for you. Let's see if this demonetizes me.
Ho, 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 ho! 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 Ho, 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 ho. 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 Ho, 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 ho.
All right, sorry, hoes. We're back. So I did find a charger, but it's not going to be long enough, but whatever. We will make do until the mouse dies. Don't jinx us. Santa already has enough on YouTube. Can you even fathom? Oh, Lord. The Watts brought out the worst in people. I found it truly disturbing that people went as far as they did over the murder of a mother and 3 children. Disgusting. Hey, King Hazy, it's been a long time. It's good to see you. Yeah, the case, the whole man, it was like an entire island of cutthroatness. It was insane. And it's kind of what birthed all of us, right? Like here we all are. Most of us came from Watts Island. Put a 1 in the chat if you originated from the Chris Watts case. Yeah, a lot of people do not like the Watts. A lot of people do not like the Watts. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't like the Rusheks. Matter of fact, there is still a whole hate campaign against the Rusheks. One of the people that lead that campaign was recently removed off YouTube. They lost their channel. So, yeah. It looks like the people that kind of did the most pertaining to this case have recently YouTube caught up with them. A lot of people are blaming Frankie Rushek for that, but I don't know. I don't know if he was really to blame. I remember reading AD's Shadow Man preview on Amazon, The Grandma's Disaster. Remember he was supposed to send out signed books and never did? Yeah, the whole case, look, the case has me stuttering. I'm like scared to re-enter the island, okay? I'm a little shaky here. But no, seriously though, I felt like we needed to talk about this because I couldn't believe that she literally wrote another book. So you guys want to hear the preview of this book, the little example they give? I don't care for the Wasp. I feel for the Resheks. Really, Gary? Really? Wow, that's interesting. I feel for both families. I feel like anytime I don't know why criminals, family members are always blamed. Like murderers, family members always get a lot of heat, a lot of backlash. It's Bella's birthday next month. Wow, Gladys. Them baby. I mean, my God. The whole case is just so horrific. And that's why I can't believe that Charlene. I mean, come on, Cadle, really? All this time later? You got to do this again? You know, haven't you gotten enough? Hey, Jude. Actually, Cadle at one point says that she was going to give out Nicole's new identity, and she didn't. But she knows it allegedly, and she was debating it. So I guess we got to sit tight for the next book. I mean, come on. When did the crime took place in 2018, right? Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, August 2018. 2018. We are in 2023, and Charlene Cadle is writing yet again another book. They did sell the house. There's a family living there. They say they love it. They don't report any hauntings or anything like that because I know there was that whole the place is haunted. Listen, you hear little girls laughing, you see shadows. Look at the top of the steps, and it's like, yeah, the laughter you hear in the closet is a Christmas toy. The little girl you see in the steps is actually Nicole, the friend Nicole's daughter. You know, so like everything they claim to be the ghost and all that, no. Then you have the brown hair girl going into the house. Police went. There was nobody in the house, but no neighbors reported her coming out. I know the neighbor had to move. What was his name again? He rolled out. He was done. Did you like the song? Can you show the house since it's been painted? Oh, it's been painted. I didn't know that. Let's see. I do know Chris said that the only choice he had in the home was the color of it. All right, let's see. Do you guys remember when MGL, Molly Golightly, went there and she picked up 3 rocks? People are so bizarre. Like, no, let me grab those rocks. Oh, he was a major break in the case with his video. He was, but people wouldn't leave him alone. Nate the neighbor. That's right. Niko would be 5. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine you have 2 beautiful little girls, you have this what looks like this happy life, this happy home. You're pregnant, you find out it's a boy, and then you find out your partner's having an affair with this cheapskate from work. And I've never been against Nichol. I'm one of the very few people, but you get the idea. And just like that, your world's crumbling around you, and then he takes your life. Oh. All right, so let's check out this painted house.
Everyone, so this is going to be a quick little video.
All right,
New owner
make
house.
it quicker.
I think it looks so much better than.
Oh, I didn't even realize it right there. Okay, so they painted the top white. I don't know if I think it looks so much better. Oh, I'm doing the same thing again. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think that makes it look better? Let me pull up what it looks like before for those who are unaware. So that okay, I don't know. This is what it was before. So now basically they painted the tops white and black. Yeah, Nate's mom even wrote a book. Like, holy hell. I mean, yeah. I talk about exploiting the case. It looks odd to me. I don't like it. I'm not going to knock their taste, but I didn't like all brown. Yeah, I kind of like the brown. They paint the inside too, which they put up for sale. Well, Shanann had wild colors, right? She had you have to have that taste to like that. I don't care for the white either. Okay, I'm not. All right. Yeah, a lot of you feel the same way. Hey, Angela. Claire's good to see you. Yeah, the brown kind of looks together. You go over to this new white, and it just looks like
the dark town that Chris had once picked out. Here's a side-by-side to compare.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Oh. Hey, no more. I'd make changes too, but I'm just not too sure. I think these changes are that great, but I'm glad somebody's living in there and they're bringing life to it, right? What more could you want? So a lot of people wanted them to knock this house down and put like a park there in memory of, and that's not realistic. You know what I mean? The brick that makes it horrible, really? I think it's a nice looking house. Doesn't look or feel the same. Well, never will, to be honest. It will always be known as the Watt House. Yeah. And they've always had people that are going to creep up there. And matter of fact, do you guys remember Mexi was doing like a spirit reading outside of there, and somebody, Coops, called the cops? You guys remember that? Ooh, what you got? What you got, Mrs. Peacock? They couldn't do a park. You can't just do a park. Yeah, so there's, a homeowner association. There's houses nearby. You couldn't just do a park. All right, so most of us here are aware of the case, right? We don't really need to revisit much of the case. You guys get the gifs of it. Christopher Watts. Did anybody else read the discovery? I read the entire discovery. I was so into this case. And Kay got off so light, though. She told so many contradicted lies in those interviews to distance herself from the murders and herself. She did. Do you guys remember? They're so small. She was definitely, yeah, look close enough, Gary. I think there's quite a few shadows there. She's definitely She's nuts. She's nuts. Nicole, there's so many red flags with Nicole, but I try to put myself in her perspective, right? Her place. You meet this guy, you know he's married, you're having a fling, everything's great, you're having all this wild fun sex, and you're going on these trips, and you're in the infatuation stage of things, and the next thing you know, his wife and kids are missing. I don't know. Would you be shaken up? Would you be scared? I mean, listen, I see a cop behind me and I get fucking nervous. You know what I mean? And I'm not doing anything wrong. A cop pulls me over and I get nervous and I'm not doing anything wrong. So I couldn't imagine if I was dating somebody who ended up taking the lives of his family. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd be shaken up and come across the way she came across as well. And another thing people disputed, people were angry that her father was allowed in the what they call an interrogation. He was allowed in what they call interrogation. You know what I mean? Like, first off, I don't think it was an interrogation. It wasn't, although we wanted it to be. It was not. But you're allowed to have people there with you when you go to speak to the police. Where do you think she did that at? And Kay made the strangle motion with her hands, in my opinion, anyways, when a cop made her say Shanae's name in the interview with her camera with her dad. Really? She was looking them up. Well, some people argue that that was a misprint in the discovery. I think that she was definitely, at least after she met Chris, was looking them up. Well, she wasn't a suspect. Yeah, it was a witness statement of sorts. You're allowed to have. I think a person forget I made a nut tree for Christmas to give as gifts. I completely forgot one of the children was allergic to cashews. You guys remember when somebody sent him a Valentine's Day card signed by the girls? I think she was very distraught. I don't know. It was confirmed not to be a misprint. Listen, I'm not saying Nicole's innocent. I'm just saying I don't think she would have enough power to get away with it if she did participate. Yeah, it was very gross. It was very gross. Scribble, I like that name for her. Can't write a book, but she can copy one. Blood or fluid in the house, or Grace Ocean Inn when she gave birth. So where was the? Well, there was on the sheets, if you recall. I believe she was incredibly manipulative, but I don't feel like she was there physically helping hurt them. I think she mentally pushed him. You think all right, let's take a poll. We need a poll now. Hold on. All right, I'm curious. Give me a second. Give me just a second. Let's see what we can do. All right. Let me get on over here. I'm going to make us a poll. Start a poll. Do you think the mistress NK? Oh, what the hell? My son has this gaming keyboard and I don't like it because it's like condensed and I'm used to like old school. Yes, no, and a maybe so. All right, get your votes in. Let's see where you all stand. The Godfather YouTube has arrived. Who that? Who'd that be? Look at that fashionable cat. Scary. I think NK was the devil on his shoulder. Yeah, I think it was like NK was a match, and there was already propane. You know what I mean? I think that she just ignited something. Her father's connected. There's so much more to this outside talk. Made millions from this as they paid a lot cheaper price for oil field. Yeah. There's all that, and there's the, was there things in the pipes, and there's a lot to go off of. The poorly ranked community pace. I do not see them, Gary. I don't look for them. 90% of them are about me, and for somebody they deem so annoying and as a has-been and, so irrelevant and stupid and all those things, they sure as hell focus on me a lot. Matter of fact, would you all take a moment and drop a potato in the chat to say hello to our favorite stalker that there's ever been? Hey, girl, hey. You fucking weirdo. She was Googling up book deals a lot. She was looking at wedding rings. Yeah, she sure was. She sure was. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, sweet Melissa. Thank you. Really means a lot. Hey, Lou Jane, how have you been? Really means a lot. I appreciate that. Let me check on these polls over here. All right, so we got 47% say yes. All right, you guys are thinking she is guilty. Woo, there you go, Potato. You're finally getting some attention. Hello, hello. Now goodbye. Anyway, she gets on my nerves. How you doing, Sandy? How you doing? She was looking at wedding rings. Hey, Tammy. She was looking at wedding rings. I think in her mind, he was going to leave his wife and be with her. And I think in his mind, he saw no other way out than what he did, which is, idiotic as it is. I don't know. Oh, 71. She'll be like, she threatened me. Can we take a detour to check out my video really quick? Let me show you guys this. Because this is her right now. Thanks to all of you participating in the chat. This is her right now. Thank you, Granny. Psychopath. Then says she wasn't that serious about it. Yeah, she that bitch knew what she. Listen, we all know women like this, right? We all know. Matter of fact, there is one amongst us. We all know women like this. That they don't necessarily, they will deny to the world their interest in a person, but because they're not quite interested, what they're more so interested in is being the winner, right? To feed their little ego. They just want to prove that they could be chosen over this other woman. And I think for Nichol, Nichol was absolutely jealous of Shanann. Shanann was a beautiful woman. She was very outgoing. She had a lot of people that liked her. She had spunk. She had all the things where Nicole's a little more homebody. She's a little mousy. She's not as well reciprocated. I don't think a lot of women throughout Nicole's life liked Nichol, as opposed to Shanann, who was every girl's best friend, right? And I think in that aspect alone, I think for her, she just wanted to prove something. She just wanted to prove that she could take Shanann's place. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. So, yeah. I think she just wanted to see how much she could get of Chris. And quite frankly, take from Shanann. Hey, Seashell. It's good to see you. Oh, misspoke. Sorry. Do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I do think there was a little bit of that happening. I know the Adelsons, and it's crazy to know we were friends with such people. It blows my mind. Charlie was a great guy. The Adelsons. Let me see. Are they part of this or? Oh, really? That guy. You knew them. Or you know them, I should say. You know them. Wow. Win, no matter what. Yeah, so the basic bees, the pick-me's, the girl that would flirt with your boyfriend behind your back, those people, yes. She's something like, oh no, I think that was sex stuff, CW says. Well, I don't believe all that. See, I think that's all part of the Cadle's conspiracies. I think that's all part of crazy Cadle. The whole, oh, there was a rock underneath the bed, and she used, what's that shit they're saying she used to like manipulate him, like smoke you blow in his face type of thing? And I don't know. Cobbs asked her if she ever met the kid. She said no, I didn't want to. And listen how she said it before she added all the other words. She was talking about unicorn cereal made her think of them. But now we got Cadle claiming she met the kids at the park. So I don't know. Oh, thank you so much, Cece. I appreciate that. If one of the mods have the link, I'd appreciate that as well. I really don't think Chris, the girls, I think NK did. Chris slipped up and said she effing hit my girls. But I think he was referring to Shanann because he tried putting it on Shanann at first, if you all recall. And some people believed it. Some people went with it. She didn't want his kids. NK's a rotten chick. I don't believe anything she wrote. She needs to go back to her romance novels. Yeah. She's wild. Let's check what these polls are saying. All right. We're still at we're getting close there. 50 to 38. What, a 12%? I don't know. Okay. Thank you so much, Pristine. A channel is nothing without the mods, and you guys, my mods are my friends, and I appreciate you. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit the membership if you like. I honestly don't think NK was involved. I'm not sure if it was planned. I think more likely there was confrontation. So are you leaning more towards his story where he says pretty much there was confrontation? Shanann comes home from the airport. She wants to confront him over spending the money at that restaurant. She's well aware. I mean, listen, women's intuition, you know what I mean? Well, you can sense it. You can feel it. You know something's off. She knows her husband. She knows he's acting weird. He's not touching her. And maybe she confronts him about that. And the psychopath snapped. What I didn't like the fact that she said, or I'm sorry, he claims that they had relations that night. How humiliating. You know, and like, here's your pregnant wife. You haven't touched, you haven't kissed, you showed no romance or romantic feelings to, and you claim you cave in and you had sex with her, you piece of shit. Basically misguiding her, you know. I always thought she went out with him briefly on that Saturday, the TV device swap with the friend, but that's just my conspiracy mind. I agree, PB&J. Gary, I had a goal by Christmas, and I think we're going to make it, my friend. Sweet MGA Melissa, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. Thank you. Well, you know, I think because they were a witness. That's what I think. I actually believe this Chris story that he gave in prison. All right, let me show you what this book says, a little bit of the book, all right? I did not turn on ad revenue because I'm pretty sure this would get it declined, but let's see. Pretty much, I think he said he doesn't love her anymore. She probably threatened him. Well, yeah, I believe that. I believe she said that. I believe she said, you know, you want to go be with this woman, you'll never see the kids again. I could see that. So shockingly, this book has 5.0. Can you believe it? 5 stars, 100%, probably 1 review. Let's see. Yeah, sit down. We know it. I love it. Great book. Just like art. Oh, come on. Who wrote this? Cadle herself? She really pours her heart in all her work and books. Thank you for your hard work, Cheryl, to give a voice for those who can't speak on what happened that horrible night. No, I think Cheryl should shut up. That's what I think. All right. Is there a way to? I guess not. All right. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm so glad you guys can't see my naughty toys in the cart. I did not know it would show so much. Yeah, go with your gut feelings. Absolutely. I've learned to follow my instincts, and they fairly rarely lead me wrong. He's a goof, is what he is. All right, so let's hear this. Ready? This is the truth and theories. The truth and theory. I see what you did there. You've gotten a little smarter over the years, haven't you? The many faces of Christopher Watts. Why? What is this? Who is this? Who's this woman? Why are we using her photo? And we got the jail. But who's that supposed to represent? It ain't you. It ain't her. Who's that supposed to represent? But anyway, all right, let's proceed. Introduction. The purpose of my book is to bring the truth to help bring anyone to justice that is guilty. My hope is the law enforcement agencies will take another look into this case and bring justice for Shanae, Bella, Cece, and Niko. Oh, you know what? Cadle. You are unbelievable, Cadle. You are just giving the people what you think the people want. And what is that? I think it's Barbie. This is self-published. I guess. I don't know what she's saying there. I don't know. She has no rights to use the actual photos, so I don't know. I think there's an audio version we can listen to. Anyway, quoting the Bible scripture, and he said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." I wish, Laura Lulu, I wish. I think she was drugged. That's why she didn't fight back. I agree. She could have kicked his ass, and he knew that. I think he was on top of her. Like he said, I believe that. I believe he was on top of her. All right. So we got this man, this monster, came into my life in January of 2019. No, you went into his. All right. Just stop. I'm not going to. All right. Just stop, Jess. I'm just fucking psycho. Just 5 short months after he had murdered his entire family, everyone in the Christopher and Shanae Watts home was wiped out, cruel for no reason, a senseless, crazy act of evilness that was brought on, in my opinion, by his mistress, who gave him everything he thought he lacked. Girl. Hey, Jinx. Girl. All right. He was propelled by lust and sex. This almost sounds like it's giving him an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Are you just going to take away? Just let me proceed to read. Maybe I'm wrong. He was propelled by lust and sex, which fed his appetite for an appetite for more. I'm not the smartest, as you all know. Yeah. Sometimes my brain goes a little faster than the words. I understand me. You may not. Stick around. You will. All right, let's go. Christopher Watts has always said something controlled him that eerie morning of August 13, 2018. Yeah, what did they say it was? Was that angel's breath or something? What was that stuff they said she, which powered him with? Was this true? Or was this cast in blame? Still today, he will say he does not completely recall everything that happened. I started to believe he didn't remember everything. 5 years later, he still says that morning, or at least part of that morning, is unclear. He don't talk to you. He don't talk to you no more. Devil's breath. It's all right, Jess. The Kool-Aid be popping. Devil's breath. It was devil's breath. Thank you. All right. How can an act of this level of evilness be excused by the perpetrator as not remembering? I would think you wouldn't be able to get it out of your head and mind. I would think it would haunt you daily. Guess what? It does haunt him every day and every night of his pathetic life. I believe Shanae's brother was hoping this would be Christopher's fate. Oh, Cadle. All right. Why write this book? Yeah, why write this book? Go ahead, tell us why. I'm sure there will be some, especially the media trolls, that will accuse me of only doing it for money. Media trolls. They're media trolls. I'm sure I'll be accused of all sort of things. However, because I'm just like many of you, I cannot get this case out of my mind. Also, I've found out several things I believe those who are so invested in this case need to know. It haunts me every day. It interferes with my sleep. It visits my dreams. I think of Shanae as a motivated, busy mom who was true to her family and was taken without warning. I'm sure no matter what she was going through with her marriage, it never entered her mind that Christopher could or would off her and the girls. He told me once that one thing he feels so bad about is the last thing he said to Shanann, I don't love you. She died hearing that. And that was as cruel as it gets. That was as cruel as it gets. Not the taking of of her life. There's also the fact that if all these things, Chris has not spoken to her in 5 years. So these are either things you already knew or things you are fabricating. Okay? There's no in between there. You haven't spoken to him recently. He doesn't, come on. Why now? Well, us internet trolls. Many have tried to blame Shanann for Christopher's outburst of evil. Shanann was strong-willed, determined, driven, and probably bossy. However, according to Christopher himself, he lacked the take-charge personality that a woman as strong as Shanann needed. With his personality, she had to be the strong one. But now people try to blame her for her murder? I cannot tell you how this angers me. This poor mother of 3 was not given any chance to defend herself. She tried the other way, right? She tried the way of being Christopher's friend, Christopher's voice. And now she's like, anti-Christopher. Okay. Her husband murdering her, I believe, came completely by surprise, and she must have died not being able to grasp why he would do this. Listen, look how this is written. Her husband murdering her, I believe, came completely by surprise, and she must have died, not being able to grasp why he would do this. This is your published author. Okay? We do know she died not knowing her competition. What kind of coward would do that? This kind of coward. We do know she died not knowing her competition. What the fuck? People say every death has a purpose. I was told this repeatedly after my 18-year-old grandson's death. I've never figured out a reason for his death, nor can I figure out why Shanann, her unborn son, Bella, and Cece's death either. It makes no sense whatsoever. Well, I'm sure they did not, it was not done so you could exploit them. That much I am almost positive of. Because that's what this is. This is furthering your exploitation as if you haven't done enough. I don't, you get on my nerves, Cheryl. She gets on my nerves. Can you do a review of the reviews? Yeah, there's only one. There's only one review that says that it's such a, great book. And I believe it's Cheryl herself that wrote this. I mean, I could be wrong, but the review seems like it comes from Cheryl herself. All right. Back over. It makes no sense whatsoever. The only way I can think of it is untimely. We know God did not ordain Christopher to kill his family. It was done out of self-will and pure evilness from the monster that lives inside of him. Although you will see why I think that his girlfriend played an integral role in the murders. This monster grew inside of him when he was a very young child. This is my belief and opinion. Well, either he's had a monster inside of him since a child, or she brought out the monster in him. Or maybe, I guess, in her mind is both. Whatever. Looking back, one of the darkest days of my life is the day I felt called to write about the Christopher Watts murders. I've had the wonderful opportunity to talk with many people worldwide because of my book, The Murders of Christopher Watts. One thing I have learned is that those who have American Indian in their blood have a sort of sixth sense where they can, as one woman put it, read people's souls. Are you all right, Cheryl? Can anybody make sure she's okay? Or are you okay? Isn't that what Nate's mother claimed? She was like, her Indian soul made her visit Shanann in the spirit world or some shit. I don't know. I've always said, and my husband will attest, that I can spend 15 seconds with someone and sum up who they are. But yet you remained friends with Christopher until he no longer wanted to be your friend. That did not change when I saw Christopher standing on his front porch talking to the media. And I knew he was well aware of where his wife and children were and that he had murdered them. I also sensed a deep feeling of darkness from him. Yet I didn't think darkness was always prevalent. I don't think Shanann saw it because he was smart enough to keep it hidden inside him. My belief is he knew it was there. I believe, by his admission to me, that he had horrible, dark thoughts many times towards Shanann. He said there were times she was after him about something and he wouldn't listen. He would look at her and think how he could kill her. These were dark thoughts long before he acted on them. Not for one moment did I ever think he was innocent. He did tell me they didn't fight. She would go off on him, he said, and he would not argue back or disagree with her. How much better for all had he been able to stand up to her? Been able to stand up to her. What are we thinking so far? Hey, thank you so much, PB&J. Tweety, did we get your message? Where was it? Don't speak for us Indians, ma'am. All right. However, through the last 5 years since he murdered his wife, Shanann, daughters, Bella and Cece, and son, Niko, there have been millions of people weighing in on what happened. They were there as if they sat and talked to him and got the story as if they knew more than we knew. What? Who's we, ma'am? You and your alter ego? They were there as if they sat and talked to him and got the story as if they knew more than we knew. Like it or not, I was the one who did. The only one who did. He opened up to me and used me as his sounding board, and now I'm also known as his speaker. You're fucking weird, man. This is weird. So bizarre. He used me to get it all off his shoulders. Then, because of the fallout, he found it easier to blame me. He denied that he gave me the information to print in a book. I produced a signed agreement. If you want to see it, buy my book, The Mūrders of Christopher Watts, and you can see our signed, notarized agreement and his letters. How could it be notarized while he's in jail? Here she is plugging the other piece of shit book that, 90% of it was copy and paste off another author's book? You will read in these letters what he wanted in the book. When the media and others caught sight of my book, it was a huge shock to some. Mostly, he killed his daughters twice. These are his words. Christopher was never promised anything other than what was in my book. Shanann's parents were shocked, and that's something that surprised him. So he found it easier to blame me. I have full proof of everything. This lady's nuts. Oh, you can? I don't know. Luckily, I don't know. This lady's nuts, though, and I'll tell you why she's nuts. Because, well, what? Did Chris not think her family would be any more shocked? Like, what are you talking about? He agreed to have this all put in a book and then decided to retract it because Shanann's parents were shocked? I mean, what? Who believes her? Let me stop this other poll. Let me get a new poll going. Hold on. All right, so our poll is ending with, do you think the mistress and Kay was involved? 54% yes, 33 no, 13 I don't know. All right, let's see how you feel. All right, so she goes on to say, for those of you who are familiar with the Watts story, I will update and refresh the story. For those unfamiliar, read my book, The Mūrders of Christopher Watts. This is the third time she plugged her book. Even though it has been 5 years since the fateful morning of August 13, 2018, the story is still as interesting and addictive as it was from the beginning. Yeah, I think you're just addicted, and you were trying to. She's trying to. Hey, Turtle Gang. She's trying to relive her 5 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? Oh, look at you, Gary. Look at you. Causing millions of people to be drawn in a way they just can't let go. Not because Christopher is so good looking. Who the fuck? Why would you say because he's good looking? Is that how can you not let it go because you think he's good looking? I mean, some people really just be telling on themselves out here. Not because he's the first man to have an affair or even the first to kill his family. I believe it's so popular because so many people believe wholeheartedly that his mistress has something to do with it. Many believe she physically participated in the murders. In the chapter below, you will see why I feel she did play a part. I did not always believe this, and not until I did more research can I come to the conclusion I have now. Well, it took you 5 years. Welcome, Turtle Gang. It took you 5 years to reach that conclusion. She's got way too much here. It's just a little, little odd. I don't think there has ever been such an attack on another author as there has been me. She still calls herself an author. Why don't you tell people why people are why don't you write in your book how you stole another author, an actual author's book? You weren't just attacked because you spoke with Chris Watts. You were attacked because you went around spreading conspiracies and being caught and lies. I mean, come on. I was just a regular person. I had not harmed anyone. I felt a call to write a book and to get the story straight from the killer himself. That's what I did. I took the initiative to write to him, form a relationship with him, go to the prison, and spend many hours sitting and talking face to face with a cold-blooded killer. You sure did, ma'am. I think the whole thing went crazy when a woman contacted the Wasp family with the intent of making money off the case and convinced Christopher's mother that he could not have possibly killed his family. Who do you guys think she's referring to there? Let me reread this for you. I think the whole thing went crazy when a woman contacted the Watts family with the intent of making money off the case and convinced Christopher's mother that he could not have possibly killed his family. Who do you guys think she's referring to? Because I know. But why is it that person wanted to make money but not you? Uh-oh. She's not aware if authors have been in prison and killed over their books. Yet she's just, the most hated and attacked. Oh, thank you, Jason. See, I'm not illiterate. I mispronounce words, but I can read. There. All right, so anyway, she's talking about truth and transparency. Good old Lana. Fight for her family. The one, the only. Shazam. Christopher's mother that he could not have possibly killed his family. Of course, a mother does not want to believe that her son, and she was willing to grab onto any other theory of what could have happened. Incomplete sentence. Of course, a mother does not want to believe that of her own, does not want to believe that of her son. She was willing to grab onto any other theory of what could have happened. After all, Christopher did not even tell his family what had happened. She went as far as creating a YouTube channel where she charged people money to listen to a nonsense made up story of things that made no sense. What? Okay. All right, so she went as far as creating a YouTube channel where she charged people money to listen to a nonsense made up story of things that made no sense. After making much money and leading the Watts family down a dead end road, she dropped the family and all of her nonsense, leaving many people wondering what they had just been caught up in. People are so thirsty to get the truth that they could be sidetracked into believing something so far fetched. She's the one that came out with Nicole Kessinger as a witch and used all this voodoo and black magic. And, listen, some of Lana's theories were far-fetched, but some were not. I mean, let's just be honest. Sure, Cadle interviewed him, and he said he did it alone. Why the change of opinion? Well, because she's nuts. And there were so many others and so far-fetched that I'm not going to give them the attention by mentioning their scams. It's a shame that someone excuse me. It's a shame that someone invents such scams to take money from people trying to get to the bottom of a tragedy. It's a shame that someone invents such scams to take money from people trying to get to the bottom of a tragedy. I've been accused of just wanting money, and that's the reason I wrote my book. Let me tell you, I've worked hard, very hard. Not only did I drive 3.5 to 4 hours away from my home to pay for hotel stays, but I've spent countless hours investigating, reading, writing, and talking face to face and on the phone day after day with a murderer. Am I not allowed to put in a book to help people understand what has happened? Why can other authors write about cases? I can't? Why? Because I'm new at writing? Every author had to have the first book. People could not stand that he gave me the story. I had no love interest in Christopher. It's just an interest to get the real story. Yet that road led me down different paths to the truth. Who the fuck ever said she was in love with him? Why? I think she is projecting a lot here. Is it because he's a good-looking man? I'm not in love with him. This is like, do we need to bust out the violins? A woe is me? What is this? This is bizarre. What do you guys think so far? This is nuts. Let me see the poll. 87% do not believe you. Cadle. Come on. Vote. You guys are hiding from the bushes. Hit the vote. It is all about her. This is nuts. That was cruel. I did not realize. What are we reading again? Is this like the fucking verse? What are we reading? That was cruel. I did not realize till very far into writing my book that the Watts family had never been told the truth of what happened. You just said up here that you were the only one he told. Now you're shocked that he didn't tell his family? She actually acknowledged earlier on that he never told his family. Now she's saying she's shocked he didn't? I think he's good looking. I think they were a good looking family. It is strange. All right. Come on, Cadle. What are we doing here, honey? In fact, at one point, Christopher told his mother that she needed to wait for my book to come out and then she could learn the truth of what happened. During this time, I was in contact with his mother and she knew I had the truth. So wait, you're in contact with the mother, but you don't tell the mother? Instead, you also make her wait for your book? This is so bizarre. Well, yeah, all right, fine. Fair enough. During this time, I was in contact with his mother, and she knew I had the truth. She told me she didn't know if she could handle the truth and wanted to wait until the book came out, only to blame me later. So she's like, listen, Cheryl, I don't know if I could handle the truth. I'll just wait for your book. Okay, that makes sense. Like, what mother wouldn't be like, what did he tell you? I need to know right now. What did he tell you? No, instead she's like, I'll wait and I'll buy your book with the rest of the world. Here, okay. Yet, when this other woman came along with a different story, his mother is happy to grab onto her theory. Lana. However, at the time, this other person had never met Christopher and had never sat down to discuss the crime with him. She had found a way to turn the crime into money for herself, and she went to extremes to do that. So Cheryl starts off with, this was not about me making money, to now mentioning how many times somebody else made money. All right. Not caring who she stepped on or what means she had to go through to do it, she called People's Magazine, Lifetime, and many other places. At every turn, I was told this woman had contacted them and tried to sell her narrative. These places she contacted looked at her as a crazy person. So do you mean to tell me People's Magazine, Lifetime, and other places contacted Cheryl and was like, hello, Cheryl, this is People's Magazine. And we just want to let you know that the crazy lady, the conspiracy woman on YouTube, Lana, yeah, she contacted us to sell her story. Makes no sense. Chris is proof that somebody can be very unattractive and do the work to become attractive, in my opinion, because he was very heavy set. He was weird, and and then he got into a health routine thanks to Shanann, and ended up being pretty decent looking. I mean, he's a creep, he's a murderer, but he's decent looking. That narrative soon became the narrative of the Watts. When I would not pick up their narrative and write that in my book, I became the enemy. You just gave 3 different reasons why you're the enemy. Hey, Jay Renee. Yeah, that's fair enough. People's Magazine. Hello. Cheryl? There was no stopping them. They went down every avenue they could to destroy me. I did not fight back. I did not stoop to their level of tearing others apart, lying and trying to destroy them or others. I had the facts straight from Christopher himself. At least I thought I did. Cheryl still has hurt feelings, guys, from 5 years ago. Somebody give this lady a hug. Can we give Cheryl some hugs in the chat? Cheryl, hold on. We're coming to give you hugs. Don't worry. Poor Cheryl. Poor Cheryl. She really she's out here with very sincerely deep hurt feelings. Very deep hurt feelings. Come here, Cheryl. Let me give you a hug. Don't worry, honey. You'll be okay. Hey, Swing Dig. All right. What his family and many others would not acknowledge is the information I had fit the evidence the FBI had. There was not anything else that fit. Do we really believe the FBI and law enforcement would lie, cheat, and conjure up a completely false story? They didn't. They didn't have a story. They took the story from Christopher when he went back to visit him all those months later and gave him a Gatorade and a fucking dream. I mean, what is she doing? Anyway, that just did not happen, nor would it make any sense. I absolutely detest the way Shanann is bashed. Who ever heard of bashing a victim of a murder, especially a pregnant mother of 2 small girls who were also murdered? It seems to some that she deserved it in some way. There's nothing she could have done to Christopher or his mother to deserve what she was dealt. When you put your mind to it, you can feel the intense sadness of what happened to her and her children, the finality of it all. Personally, I can cry when I give it much thought. Then she attacks her family the way some have done? It's amazing and inexcusable. After losing my grandson, I can only imagine their pain. So she's still talking about Lana. Lana, you better write this lady a fucking apology. You got her out here hurting her feelings for years. For years. I feel like we just read a whole damn book. What is this? Is the intro? Lord have mercy. Christopher and Shanann's house sat empty for almost 5 years. The eeriness of the house seemed haunted by the spirits of Shanann and her children. A home that was once full of laughter, happiness, and yes, love, was now an empty shell. No longer a home, just a house. Many YouTube creators filmed outside of the home, claiming to see the girls come to the window. As we all looked, our imagination could see them standing there. It's because our minds could picture the sweet little girls looking out of their bedroom windows or Shanann walking past the window as she performed her daily chores. They were casting a scary and chilling scene over this once beloved home. Every moment that went on inside and outside that house was captured by someone who put it on YouTube. Now, the house is a home again, as it is occupied by a loving family. There can't be any ghosts there. Shanann and her babies were not evil, but now the evil spirit, soul, and body dwell in the Wisconsin prison. Christopher told me the night after the murders when he spent the night alone there. Many things happened. I sensed an evil spirit that plagued me, he said. Waking up to all the lights being turned on in the middle of the night, he said. This is why he stayed with friends the next night. You lie. He said he kept all the lights on. They didn't just turn on. Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate that. Okay. So now she's talking about people doing conspiracies and lies and dramatizing, but now she's saying the house is fucking haunted. Like, shut up, Cheryl. He feared being alone in the house where he had wreaked so much horror. This brings me to why he felt so much evil. This brings you to why he felt so much evil? Christopher betrayed everyone in his life. His wife, children, parents, sister, in-laws, and all of their friends. Friends that had welcomed him into their home right after the murders because they believed in his innocence. What could possibly make a man do that? Interestingly, again, even some of Shanae's friends have been attacked. How is it that the hero of the story was brutally attacked during a time of grief and health problems? What has become of us to be able to behave in this manner? Why was this crime, these murders, any more important than all the other crimes and murders that happen on a daily basis? Why Christopher? He is certainly no one of any more importance. The true hero is Nichol Atkinson, and the beloveds are Shanann, Niko, Bella, and Cece. The villains are, of course, Christopher and NK. All right, so earlier she acknowledged why people were so obsessed with this case, right? Now she's saying she doesn't get why people were obsessed with this case. Are you guys hitting the thumbs up for me? Don't make me be one of those weird creators that make a poll to say, did you hit the thumbs up? I don't think you guys need like a poll popping up to ask you. AD and Lanny made so much stuff up for a grift. They seized on any conspiracy that enough people believed in to pretend it was a truth. Well, it's the perfect example. You know, again, yes, Connie, how you doing today? We witnessed firsthand, well, some of us yesterday saw firsthand how people will believe anything so long as it's against somebody they dislike. Yesterday, a woman sat on a panel and accused another creator of unaliving 12 people and committing a murder the day before. And not one person in the chat said, wait a minute, this is ludicrous. No, no, no. They wanted to hear more. It's just, you know, so people do that, you know? People do that. So why do so many of us become so enthralled in this particular story? People, mostly women, have become almost obsessive with it. Ma'am, you're the one saying you're dreaming about it 5 fucking years later. You got some audace. Lord. So many have written to him. They feel like they love him. There has been at least one relationship with him that destroyed a marriage and family. I've had countless people contact me asking, how can they get in touch with him? He's a murderer, people. There's no worse murderer than annihilating your family, children, and pregnant wife. Do you know what annihilation means? Annihilator, family annihilator. You didn't have to add in family, children, pregnant wife. The children and pregnant wife were the family. But I detest, I mean, you know, she's the author. You guys doing all right over here? Yes, please. Can we have a poll pressing the thumbs up? Yeah. One of the best YouTube creators, in my opinion, is oh, shut up. Oh my God. Cheryl, you just sat here and said about people exploiting this case and creating conspiracy theories and sensationalized. I mean, what? What? One of the best YouTube creators, in my opinion, is Armchair Detective. Girl, listen, we need to give Cheryl some seats. Can we drop some seats in the chat? Cheryl needs to take a seat. Take a seat, Cheryl. Lord. Give me 1 second. I need to grab a drink. Cheryl got me. Woo! Cheryl. Let me crack open a cold one. A cold one as in Pepsi. You guys Pepsi people or Coke people? Oh, yes, she did, Annie. Oh, yes, she did. Oh, yes, she did. Lord, Lord, Lord. All right. All right, Cheryl, you're all right. Let's go. Coke. I like Coke better, too. Woo! Getting a stuffy nose and everything. He worked countless hours to put the story together. He was able to find evidence the police didn't have or care about because they already had enough evidence to find him guilty. And Christopher made a plea of guilt on all charges. He entered that plea so he didn't have to stand a lengthy trial where he would have to see pictures and hear all he had done. He also pleaded guilty because he did not want to be sentenced to death. No, they took away the death penalty. What Pepsi? You're Pepsi? Coca-Cola, Pepsi? You don't drink soda? Wow. Yeah, says nobody ever but psychopaths on the internet. You like Coke Zero? You hate soda? I hate water. I'm not a water person. I know, it's weird. I don't know. I'm not a water person. All right. He cannot stand to hear out loud what he did. What is interesting to me is how the fairy murderer is so afraid of death. What, that's interesting to you? I think everybody's afraid of death, even murderers. He said he can't stand to hear what he did out loud, but yet he told you out loud what he did. You guys all right in the chat? We okay? Because probably getting tired of me, huh? I'm tired of it too. Let's get through it. We're almost through it. I hope he can come to a place of serenity in God and that he looks forward to going to heaven instead of fear in hell. Why would you wish that for a murderer? What makes you think this man who you painted as a monster, who you said yourself took out his own family, is going to heaven? Oh, well, she's going to tell us. Because I believe in God, forgiveness, and heaven. And as heinous as his crime is, heinous as his crime is. Sorry. When I read words, I can't pronounce them. I can't pronounce them anyway, so. We all have sinned and we are all offered forgiveness and none of us deserve it. So, all right. So wait, hold on. I hope he can come to a place of serenity in God and that he looks forward to going to heaven instead of fear in hell. But you just said up here, you hope he suffers. Because I believe in God, forgiveness, and heaven. And as heinous as his crime is, we have all sinned and we are all offered forgiveness and none of us deserve it. You don't deserve forgiveness for writing this so horribly. I'm sorry. You just don't. Okay? You don't. My son once told me, and I agree, it was a man's law that saved Christopher Watts by sentencing him to life in prison. God's law would have been death for what he did. Wait. Somebody help me here. I hate milk too. Wow. So, sisters, didn't she just say that because of God, he is being forgiven, that he deserves to go to heaven? And now she's saying that God would have killed him? Am I comprehending this correctly? Let's see. Okay, again. I hope he can come to a place of serenity in God and he looks forward to going to heaven because I believe in God, forgiveness, and heaven. And then down here she says, God's law would have been death for what he did. What I mean by that is God's law is that Christopher should have been executed for killing his family. You make no sense. Like, you literally wrote that back to back. You didn't pick up on it? 7:10. Hell no. Listen, I'm dreading having a grocery shop today. I get it. But 7:10. Milk makes you sick? No. Wow, a lot of people don't like milk. Yeah, I know. But I just can't drink just plain water. I know, right? What is this? What is this? Anyway, some would call it an eye for an eye. Man saved him by giving him life in prison. My own opinion is he should have been executed. Not that my opinion counts when I think of what those two little girls went through. What? My opinion is he should have been executed. Not that my opinion counts when I think of what those two little girls went through. Cheryl, you had 5 years. What are you doing? Bella watched her sister being murdered by their dad, whom they loved and trusted above all. The horror of Bella knowing she was next, not knowing what it was that she had done wrong, watching her daddy bury their mommy in a shallow grave. They wanted their mommy to wake up and save them from this horrible nightmare. The thoughts, oh gosh. The thoughts create a terrible monster in Christopher. His crime is not to go unpunished, but again, in my opinion, he should have given up his life to take theirs. He should have given up his life to take theirs. Most people who commit such a heinous crime will commit suicide after killing their family. He told me he never considered that. Christopher is a narcissist. He would not kill himself. Although, to the FBI, he made it seem he had given it thought. I assure you, he did not. I think she's comparing Old and New Testaments. Is she? I don't know I don't know much, but I don't know what she's doing. One of the puzzling things for everyone was why. Why did he do this? He had it all. Sure, there were some problems, but not huge problems. No problem that couldn't have been solved by going to marriage counseling. Even if the problem seemed too big or he just couldn't live without his girlfriend, he should have left his wife and divorced her. I agree he knew Shanann was not the type person who would let go easily. Why should she? After all, she was trying to protect her home, her children, their family, and her marriage. She had every right to do so. The girlfriend had no right to walk in and destroy and break up a family. That's for a different page. We will get there. Another woman blaming the other woman. Lord. Right. Awkward sentence structure. So what good does it bring to forefront now? Yeah, right. Ignorant woman making money. It's like she used voice. I mean, come on. What is this? This is bizarre. The idea was not authored by Christopher. He did not have the capacity to think of all this by himself. I can tell you, after spending time I did with him and hours of talking on the phone, this man did not come up with this idea by himself. What idea? It was sloppy. It was fucking last minute. I mean, come on. Do you think family annihilators are like, I mean, what? Speaking of which, that guy, Dorman, took the lives of his 3 boys to punish their mother. That sicko doesn't think he should wear restraints in the courtroom. As he pleased, not guilty. All right, so we will probably never know who was the mastermind behind these ideas, but trust me, he was not the sole owner of them, nor the originator of them. Again, later in this book, I do offer my opinion as to how this came to be, which leaves more questions as to who. Who put these ideas into his head? Was it a combination of people? Although I know he thought of killing them for some time, what triggered that? You're the one that told us that he would look at Shanann as she complained to him and say, oh, I could kill her. I feel I know, or at least I think. I'll let you, the readers, decide if my opinion fits the crime. That doesn't even make sense. He did not snap and, all of a sudden, kill Shanann. By his admission in his letters to me, he thought about it for a while. You can read his letters in The Murders of Christopher Watts. Plug number 5. She's plugged this 5 times, and now she is once again contradicting herself. Either he thought about it the whole time. I mean, come on. This is fucking long for an intro. I've tried to think in my own heart and head what drove him to this point. I cannot relate to why he did this, but I believe he was tired of the marriage and he was living in and now feels he's in a better place than in his marriage. Well, Cheryl, you sure are a rocket scientist. I mean, clearly, he wasn't happy in his marriage, or he wouldn't have had an affair and stole her life. Wow. Not that he wants to be in prison. I don't mean that. But the fact he doesn't feel pushed around like he felt with Shanann. So now she pushed him around. Shut the fuck up, Cheryl. Oh my gosh. It's just a fucking intro. Who the hell's buying this? He had just become a man and stuck up for himself. I truly believe she would have changed. Had he just become a man and stuck up for himself, I truly believe she would have changed. I think Shanann wanted a take-charge husband, not one who was mean to her or bullied her around, but one who would step up to the plate and be a man. Christopher was not that person. So in his head, instead of fighting with Shanann, it was somehow easier to get rid of her. Yet the children. Why get rid of the children? The truth is, he did not want to have that responsibility or the hassle of having a family. He told me once the thought of him being caught never entered his mind. Here I go. I take the chance again to put my opinions and knowledge of the crime to the public view. I do hope you will accept it for what it is. Again, I'm trying to get to the truth. So this book is about the different theories and stories out there. You may be shocked by this book, so hang on. Everything I state in this book is either my belief or my opinion of what Christopher told me. The research I did renders just my opinion, not facts. So come along with me on this journey as I recap the murders and follow Christopher on this ride. A ride he should have been sharing with NK and my belief. Lord, whoa, there's fucking more. Oh, oh, Lord, have mercy. Not a crime committed by a mastermind. Certainly not a crime planned by a mastermind. This is so fucking odd. Yeah. Listen, NK's shady. She's weird. Actually, there's great videos done about NK and shows all her craziness. We can go to that. Do you guys want to go to that or you want to listen to this bullshit some more? Let me know. You guys vote. You guys want to check out the videos that paint Nichol Kessinger as guilty? Or you want to continue to read this bullshit? Each of us is a book waiting to be written. And that book, if written, results in a person explained. Nobody's asking to know you, Cadle. Nobody's asking for your book and your beliefs and none of it. Nobody. CW planned it. You just didn't plan it on Shanann's friend knowing something was very wrong when she couldn't get in touch with her. Without Shanann's friend, it could have turned out totally different. Cool gift list. It's a great way to gift our beautiful host. Thank you, Gary. This kind of reminds me of Tupac's song, 5 Deadly Venoms. It's a disaster. I make you scatter, leaving trails of brains and bladders, blowing them out of the frame with no shame. NK, go wherever I go. My humble opinion, he did it on his own. She knew he was married, and that's why she lies. I think she didn't want to end up being like, God, what's that other guy's name that everybody compared him to and he had his mistress? I got his face in my mind, but I can't think of his name. Help me out here, chat. Hey, Charlie, welcome. This book reminds me, this is as fictional as Lola, okay? Am I sure this isn't the whole book? It might as well be. Scott Peterson, thank you. Thank you, Urban. I think she was worried about being like Scott Peterson's mistress. I mean, you know, it's fair enough. Look what people have done to Nichol. You know? All right. Lord. Let's not start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Not a Twilight fanfic. It is, for sure. Under pressure. I agree with that. Thank you, Pristine, for posting the wish list. There are some Christmas wish on there for the children, if anybody would like to help. If not, understand. We also have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Your money will go better places than buying this damn book. That's for sure. Scott Peterson, Robin. Yep, Scott Peterson. I think she was afraid of ending up like Scott Peterson's mistress. Now, granted, they were totally different. Not at all. Do you guys know there's a new Hunger Games? I was binging them last night because I would love to go see that. I want to go see it. I'm going to go see it. Look at this. As a teenager, he did not date. Many weekends, when his friends would be at school dances or out with their friends, Christopher would be at home with mom and dad, watching movies or doing whatever his parents would do. This was odd to his parents, but they passed it off as he was just a good boy. Christopher and his sister grew up in South Carolina home. There were about 8 years between them, but they were still close. His sister watched out for him. His sister and his mother babied him. A mama's boy who did what he was told. He didn't argue back or question what he was told. The perfect teenager. You're odd. Yeah, this part was weird. There was a time when he was a young teenager when his mom said she could hear him in the bathroom saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. She would ask him what he was talking about, but he wouldn't tell her. She once commented that she could always know what he was thinking. She would frequently ask him what he was thinking and what was on his mind. If she knew what he was thinking, then why would she ask him? He would usually tell her, but not when he was in the bathroom asking forgiveness for something she did not know about. What could that have been? I think many of us could conjure up what it may have been. However, I'm sure we will never know. Is this just one of the things growing inside of this monster? These things may have simmered in his mind for years until it all boiled over that fateful night of August 13th, 2018. The evil within was bound to come out at some point. The evil within, I don't think, was ever seen by Shanann. She was completely blindsided by the evil thoughts and his ability to annihilate his family. During the murder, when his sweet little girl looked him in the eyes as he was killing her, it was, I'm sure, the first time she saw that evil monster face to face. During some of the years when he was growing up, his father was addicted to drugs. The family had to carry on and manage without him. Even though he was always in the house, he spent a lot of money on cocaine and other drugs. They lived in a very modest life and seemed to still. Christopher loved him all the same, but had to carry the life without any relationship with his dad during that time. His mother would attend church with the kids and without their father. During that time, I'm assuming, is when he grew a conscience that would cause him to beg forgiveness for something that he had been doing. I'm pretty sure it was as simple as stealing a Matchbox car from the local five and dime. You're weird. You're weird, honey. You're weird. Perfect teen. She's weird. I just all weird. All right, let me go over to here really quick. 80% do not believe Cadle. 20% do. Bless it. All right. So here is actually on video. But I gotta run and use the restroom. This is just 70. This is now 78% of the sample. I didn't realize it tells you right here. From the first time the Watts family met Shanann, they did not like her. They predicted from the beginning the relationship would not work. In my opinion, they were not willing to give her a chance. They did not see at the time that she made him happy and he made her happy. They were in love and they desperately needed support of their families. Christopher especially needed his family's support. My opinion is if he had been offered their support and they had been kinder to Shanann, things could have been much different. I'm not saying the murders were their fault, at least not directly, but I think it's possibility the murders may have never happened if there had been a better family dynamic. Christopher needed the confidence he could have gained from his family to have left Shanann instead of taking her life. Now listen, this makes no sense, right? And let's break this apart as to why. If Chris Watts' family never liked Shanann, they never liked her. Yeah, that's a good one, Gary. Then they would have encouraged a divorce. You know what I'm saying? It would have been opposite. They would have encouraged the divorce. But it's also ignorant to say they never liked her because, people don't know this and people seem to overlook this. But it was actually the Watts family. It was actually Ronnie and Cindy that would go to Chris and Shanann's house and stay there weeks on end to help them with the children. There's this narrative that Cindy and Ronnie were never near their grandkids and didn't like them and barely spent time, and that's not true. They were actually there a lot, and they helped a lot. All right, I'm going to use the restroom. This is how I feel reading this. Let me just put this one on. This is me trying to get through the fucking intro of this book right now, okay? I've aged 30 years, 40, wait, 70. I've aged about 50 years trying to begin this, okay? Are you guys still here with me? Everybody all right? I don't think Shanann realized what she had until it was all too late. She did love him, but didn't have any respect for his weak ass. Yeah. Yeah, I think they were complete opposite. Did anyone else find it when our sons was dating and think she's not good enough for her son? Where is it? All right, so let's I think we're pretty much done here, right? Let's see. Sometimes we are never ready for the cards we are dealt. We don't do things on purpose to have an outcome like a son killing his family. I doubt that Watts ever gave it an inkling of thought he was capable of doing such an awful act. Something that would change all their lives forever. Christopher may be physically in prison, but what he did to his family and Shanann's family is to put them all in a different kind of prison that they were also sentenced to for the rest of their lives. I find it very odd that Christopher told me one time that he was not sure Shanann was in heaven because he didn't think she knew God. All I can say to that is, wow. It's the first time she's ever mentioned that, huh? Me too, crime belay. Me too. So now he says Shanann didn't know God. Oh, hell, chapter 2 with the theories. Unless today is well lived, tomorrow is not important. Remember, this woman said one of the best YouTubers was Armchair Detective, okay? One of the theories about Christopher killing his family is that the Watts put the thoughts into his head or that they had a part in the murders. As I said, in my opinion, they had absolutely nothing to do with the very thought or actions of the murders. I say this with honesty. Even though the Watts family has been brutal to me, his mother tried to destroy me in several different ways. Oh, shut the fuck up. When did she try to destroy you? I believe if there is however, I have empathy for what they have gone through. I believe if there is anything that they did that could have been part of what Christopher did, it was maybe his relationship with his mother. She encouraged him to write the letter and, if anything happened to him, to look at Shanann. Again, something he did not come up with on his own. But he was telling his mother and sister how unhinged Shanann was, and he was uncertain as to what she might do. I believe laying the groundwork for what was to come. Yeah, because, well, if she ended up dead, well, surely Shanann did it. Yeah, I get it, the Wanderer sub. Yeah. My opinion is he always tried to please his mother. This came out when he would talk to me about what he had done. He could not tell his mother. Months turned to over a year before she knew the whole story. Because he wanted her to get the story by reading my book. He could blame me instead of owning it up to his mother for what he had done. She took that lead and took it out on me also. It's very odd, and I think it has left to be a professional psychologist. And I think it has to be left to a professional psychologist to explain. Their blame was also how they treated and felt about Shanann. Never could they have predicted that he would do something like this. Their blame was also how they treated and felt about Shanann. I will talk later about this, but I think there was a direct influence, but not from his family. I think Christopher decided after there had been trouble between Shanann and his mother that he had to take the side of his mother. His mother commented once that Shanann took Christopher from them. Think for one moment what that means about a full-grown man. Love can do many things. It can make us strong or weak, happy or miserable, smart or stupid, content or restless, angry or sad. It pulls at one soul string and sometimes can cause us to make decisions we would not normally make. Sometimes we think it's love when it's infatuation or lust. Of course, we all know there are different kinds of love. Oh, I can't anymore. Sorry, I just can't. I even trying to sing it, I can't get through it. And music makes everything bearable. Cheryl was? I see you, LMP. Were you timed out or something? You commented earlier. I said hi to you. I think we're done with this, right? She threw a whole ass, I don't know what the fuck in there. I mean, if you're gonna like rehash something from 5 years ago, at least make it good. At least make it good, right? This is just ludicrous. And again, this is only 80%. Oh, chapter 3. When they were wed. He loses his power when we know his face. Sometime after NASCAR graduation, Christopher met Shanann through his cousin. She was beautiful, fun, motivated, and very accomplished. Everything a man would want in a wife. She already had a large, beautiful home of her own. All this information is in my book, The Murders of Christopher Watts. But you still re-explain everything like we need it. So I not spend time on here. There's a lot of controversy around Shanann having that house on her own. However, remember, she was at one time married to an attorney. It's possible the money she got from her divorce built the home she was living in. We don't know. It's none of our business, nor at this point it makes any difference. So, no. Yes. Yes, 5 years ago. 5 years later, here we are. And listen, Shanann was a hard worker. She worked hard for her money. To say she only had that house because she divorced an attorney. It was 6 hours. It was 4. It was 1.5. You're wrong. All right, so let's anybody rushing to buy that book? You guys on your way? On your way? Anybody running to go grab this book? The only new things that she mentions in this book, Charlie, is that she's claiming again that Nichol met Bella and Cece at a park where they just pretended to the kids that she was just some lady at the park. The other thing is she is claiming that Chris and Nichol had sex on the kitchen counter. Nah, nope, no, nope, nope, no. Well, she didn't even write that first book. She took most of it from that other lady. I like that other lady. She's a trip. I know. Doesn't sound like a good book to me. She admires AD. This is insane, isn't it? This is insane. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, shit. Oh, shitty shit. Give me 1 second, guys. My book title is going to be The Traveling Rotten Potato. You guys want the potato? While we wait a second, I'll give you the potato. What? What? Oh, I don't know. I'm live. All right. All right. Angry Potatoes. I'm back. I'm back. First book was bad enough and I bought it. You bought it. I read it. It's ridiculous. So let's check this out. So again, most of you think that Nichol Kessinger was involved. And this really great YouTube channel, especially at that time, put out these really good videos based around just that. So let's see. Unmasking NK, Part 1. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey guys, we're going to start our review of NK's interviews. And we know these came out quite a bit ago, but what we're going to do, like we said in the videos, is take kind of a fresh look at it with what we know now, what he's said in the subsequent interviews and in the book. Really quick before we start, there used to be a page called We the People versus NK. And we were not the creators of that page. The two creators of this channel, however, along with two other women, Megan and Tatum, that we're friends with, we did help admin the page. And without getting into the whole backstory, because it really doesn't pertain to this, the creator, our friend, is NK's first interview takes place in a park in Arvada. Her dog and dad are with her. It's on Wednesday, August 15th, 2018, at the same time that Chris is being questioned at Frederick PD by CBI and FBI, and while they're flying a drone over Survey 319. The audio is absolutely terrible in this interview, so there's really no point in playing it for you. NK rambles quite a bit through these interviews, so in the interest of organization, we're going to go over her interviews by topic. It's also important.
This is done by Unmasked, the true crime channel. They did a fantastic job on this. Literally brilliant. They do I believe it's a 3 or 4 part series. It's fantastically done. And yeah, let's see if we can get it going. It's beginning to look a lot.
She starts out by telling agents that she met Chris in the beginning of June or maybe before that. And I do use the correct words here. She doesn't say the relationship started. She said when she met Chris. In the beginning, both NK and Chris have this date of June 1st. However, when agents go up to talk to him in
June
Wisconsin,
1st
he
is my
does tell
son's
them
birthday.
that the reason he didn't seem that excited in the pregnancy announcement video of May 29th is that he felt guilty that he was already talking to a woman at work.
So did you guys, all right. Wait. I have a better idea. Let's not watch this yet, okay? Let's wait a minute. Let's wait a minute. Hey, Reed, will you sew? Let's watch. Where is it? Burner. 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 All right. So the very well-known and popular Plunder herself came out with this information, which is how I knew about the
Man
book.
was away with the girls.
They're going to say, oh, you're the woman that had an affair with this man who took out his whole family. And I take a step back and it's just like, I didn't know. Like,
Let's rewatch that again. Look, she does look psychotic here. And listen, she just found out the man that she's been sleeping with and planning a marriage with, the married man, just committed the unbelievable act of taking the lives of his own family. But look how she, look at that. What is, look at that standstill. This is what happens when men, have little flings and don't really know the people, right? And vice versa. Thank you, Annie is okay. I feel like a lot of, I know May ended with being really angry at me and kind of cursing me out. But I did not intend on turning that against her or being against her or You know, I honestly wish the best for her, and I wish she knew what she was doing and would just stop. That's what I wish. I didn't set her up. I really tried. I really tried. Shut up. I really tried. And she just didn't heed my try, if you will. So anyway, yeah, look at this. She looks like nuts here. But anyway, let's go on.
I didn't know. Like,
What the
it's
fuck is
I
that?
didn't know. Like, I this man who took out his whole family, and I take a step back, and it's just like, I didn't know.
What the
Like,
fuck is that? What is that? This is so bizarre. Oh, she knew. She knew. Yeah, I didn't know. And you know, I didn't know. If I were her, I'm 100 fail fall for the rest of my life. Hence the don't date anyone who's married or in a relationship. And don't send peens to your friends' exes. But yeah, I just can't get over the difference here, right? Like she's almost like normal talking, and she's like, I didn't know. It's so bizarre. All right, I'll stop rewinding it, but it just blows my mind.
This man who took out his whole family, and I take a step back, and it's just like, I didn't know.
I can't get over that. Look, even this officer down here like adjusts himself. He's like, are we safe? Are we safe right now? Yeah, Charlie T. I get it. All right, watch this officer over here. He like adjusts himself. He's like, what the fuck just happened?
It's just like, I didn't know. Like, he's so disgusting.
They
I'm
laugh
so
at that.
ashamed
I'm
of
sorry. I
him
think that's
and everything,
hysterical.
and I just, all those little girls.
They were so little.
It's so sad, and she's pregnant.
And you know, on our end, we
God,
didn't.
and they're so cute. They're so little. Like, wow. Why? How? I don't even understand how you could like bring yourself to do that to somebody who's like that big.
What do you guys think? Do you think she's acting here? Do you think she's trying a little too hard? They were so little. Overreacting, right? She should have went to jail for that acting. Okay, so you guys think, you guys feel how I feel. This is just a little fucking overly, yes, you say no, feels manufactured. It does. It's very, very like so fake, acting, pregnant. All of it's bizarre. That's her dad. Well, her dad's like, fuck, we're fucked. She just sounds extremely selfish to me and in self-preservation mode. I thought she participated in crime, but I think she knew more than she let on. She's pretty obsessive about details. Weird as fuck. Robotic movements. This part was bizarre. Very bizarre. Phony as fuck. Right. She was flawed, but there's a lot of stones breaking some glass around here. Yeah, Gary, we get it. You like her. Listen, I don't like her or dislike her. I just think that she's a little exaggerant. Very exaggerant. Acting. Are you? Darn it. That was a good judge of height if she never met them. Right. All right. It's okay, honey. It's okay. You slept with a murderer. With a woman over here.
Oh, Jesus.
He's a good dad.
Let's talk about.
So she had no tears at all. You don't think? I think she was mentally involved. I think she mentally encouraged this. I mean, come on. How do you explain the fact that after he does it, he sends her the lyrics to Metallica that literally is like, can't kill the family, put them in the battery. Oh, Ooh, Jay Renee wants us to put on the tinfoil hats. Okay. Okay. But no, yeah, I mean, she's just odd. I mean, yeah, she hasn't really slept. What a crazy situation. Sure. All right, fine. But yeah, he seems like a great dad. He seems like a fantastic dad.
About this new book that actually came out today, and I basically read it in one day almost. It's the Kindle version. Author Sure. I actually started this true crime channel by talking about the case of Christopher Watts. Her first book, it was called Letters from Christopher by Cheryl Cadle. I put Bible verses over the cover. I was traveling to Austin. This called him. She actually visited him in prison in Wisconsin, allegedly hooking up on the kitchen counter in that Saratoga Trail
Hey,
home.
Lori.
I had never heard that before. Supposedly, Nicole Kessinger, according to this author, wanted to leave her mark, I guess, in that home, or her mark on Chris's mind, or
All right, so you hear that?
leave supposed counter in that Saratoga Trail, allegedly hooking up on the kitchen counter in that Saratoga Trail home. I had never heard that before. Supposedly, Nicole Kessinger, according to this author, wanted to leave her mark, I guess, in that home, or her mark on Chris's mind, or what have you. We will go over a few select.
So you mean to tell me that Charlene Cadle knew about that detail and never mentioned it until 5 years later, and we're supposed to believe you? I don't believe you. Sure, I'm sure they had sex in that house, but I don't believe that part. I don't believe, and she wanted to leave her mark. I don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Portions of the book. I just kind of pulled out the most interesting parts that I found interesting that we can talk about. I had purchased that book, The Letters from Christopher Watts, as soon as I was able.
Remember, he's like, I don't have an inkling. And I have an inkling of where they could be. Not an inkling. And then what does Cheryl write in her book? Inkling.
As soon as I could in 2019, he first already a sheriff, and I just about her. I've never stayed with him, backing up some of these claims. But let's just talk about what's in the book. So I bought the Kindle version of The Many Faces of Christopher Watts. You can find the link below. I said, why not? I didn't know if I would, but my fast.
This is what you know what I did hate? I hated the fact that people kept comparing Shanann and Nicole. Like everybody's like, Nicole's ugly, Nicole's this. I think Nicole's a beautiful woman. I do. I think Shanann's a beautiful woman. I don't know why people always have to compare and do that, right? They were getting a divorce. Mistresses are usually lied to. Right. She was misguided as well, but hey, don't be a mistress. You know what I mean? Bye, Jason. Happy Thanksgiving. But I hated that because I think they're both pretty women.
Fascination with this case and how horrific it is has always run deep. There's also the link to her hardcover book below.
This crime is not only shocking, but it riveted the world. Christopher Watts killed his pregnant wife and 2 little girls because of an affair he was having. His mistress literally disappeared after the murders. Through much investigating, Charlene has found some shocking news about Christopher's mistress and some of the things she hid from law enforcement. She also covers updates about Christopher Watts after 5 years in prison. What is he up to these days? Who does he write? Who is his girlfriend? And what happened the weeks leading up to this horrible crime? Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Grouchy Mama.
As well, it was a pretty quick Kessinger's interview on August 16th, 2018, which I've read so many times I could nearly recite it like a soliloquy. So it was a fast read, a fast stuff of Phil Field named Survey 319 and disposed of Shanann and not shy away, weren't physically have an influence on Chris having an affair with him, and did she use these mind control drinks and stuff that Cheryl talks about?
Right. Charlotte's the one I talked about mind control drinks and all the weird shit. Never mind his oddly shaped self. Right, Lynn B. So anyone else remember the smirk on his face? Yes, right there. He sure always did have a smirk on his face. He was ugh. But yeah, Cadle's the one that started the whole like witchcraft. You know what I mean? And she has the nerve to talk about others making conspiracies. Are you kidding?
course, she knows and she admits it was Chris Watts. He did it. He belongs in prison for the rest of his life. But she wrote, the morning of August 13th, 2018. The story is still as interesting and addictive as it was from the beginning, causing millions of people to be drawn in a way they just can't let go. Not because Christopher is so good looking, not because he's the first man to have an affair, or even
Who ever said that Chris is so good looking? Nobody besides her.
and explaining the reason why she wrote this new update
Fluff,
to the
fluff,
book.
fluff.
She, like I
It is
know a lot
Cooper's
of
Delight,
people out
absolutely.
there, wanted Nicole Kessinger looked into deeper. Sherilyn wrote, I believe it's so popular because so many people believe
Oh,
see
shut
why
up,
I
Cheryl.
feel she did play a part. I did not play.
I'm like, I think we should spend like a few days of that together. I'm like, because I like my space and I think you need your space. I think you need your space to like develop your identity again and like get it back, because I think he's just been like so wrapped up in this whole thing that he's got in his own life and his life that he doesn't remember probably what it's like to like be single or have time where it's like just him.
Sure.
And so I was just like, like embrace that. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I really try to like take it smart with all that. And it was the same thing with his kids. I was just like, like, and we talk about things every once in a while where I'd be like, hey, if I ever meet, cause like I have a lot of house plants. That's a good example. So I have a lot of house plants and
She's comparing houseplants. I'm confused why you would place the bodies where they were. Makes no sense for sure. Getting caught. I agree with you. I agree. There's something off here and there's something definitely missing. I mean, whoever isn't letting go unless the case consumed their days. She's like, I'm sleeping. I'm dreaming about it. It keeps me up at night. You're the one that's obsessive, Sherilyn. You know what I mean? I forget how she talks. Red lights. It is red flags. Houseplants, good example, right? How about I saw unicorn cereal and I was like, oh, the kids would like this, but Shanann doesn't let them eat sugar. Shut up.
I told him, I was like, one day, if I ever meet your kids, I was like, I'm going to show these girls how to like paint pottery and plants. I was like, I think.
Imagine the fucking audacity as a mother, okay? To have this woman say, I'm gonna teach them how to like paint pottery and plant plants. Like, you don't think their mother is doing that? Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy your families and loved ones. We'll be listening, about to get back to work. Happy Thanksgiving, Booberry. I hope you and your family have a great Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll take you guys with me to the farmer's market later. Some little lighthearted, out and about exploring. Best place ever. I think he was going to make the place explode. You believe that theory? Dun dun dun. All right. A lot of people did come up with the theory that he was going to make the whole place explode. But they would still find the remains, I would think, like the bones. I don't know.
I think they would love to see something grow that they built. I think it would be really, really cute. And like little stuff like that, but it wasn't very frequent. It wasn't, hey, we should get married, and hey, we should have babies, and hey, I want to live with you, and hey, I need to meet your children now, and let's cut the mom out. It was never like that.
There was never any conversation about, we can't do this with her around. We can't do this with the kids around.
Never.
He never said that. You never said that.
No.
So the way you guys were trying to make this work was just, slowly trying to come together because of his current situation, and by your own account,
Mine. I mean,
you're just a independent.
Mine. She's like blinking. She's looking weird. You know what I mean? There's something off here. I mean, she is odd. She's very odd. Lies. She's lying. I get it.
Kind of person, it sounds like, pretty much.
Yeah.
And but through text message or through conversation, he never said, hey, this isn't going to be financially able. I'm not going to be financially able to do this, or this isn't a good thing. I got these kids. None of those conversations ever came up.
No, I mean, he told me like he had a budget restriction. So for his apartment, and I'm pretty sure this is in the text, and this will probably be in the last couple of weeks.
Don't forget, when she says this is in the text, she deleted all of them. She deleted all the texts. She online stalked Shanann and Chris online 2 years before she worked with him. So bizarre, Sally. So bizarre. The way she said it makes me mad. Like her time is being wasted. Well, she's like chilled, right? Like you're talking about a pregnant woman and 2 toddlers were just murdered by the man you were sleeping with. And she's like kind of chilled right now, right? Like look at her. She's like leaning back and Dad's over there picking his nails nervous, but she's all like, yeah, like look, she's having coffee with the girls.
He told me 1,100 to 1,400 when I was asking him, like, because I told him I'd help him do homework. I was like, you do some homework, I'll do some homework. We'll knock this out because if you guys are for real putting the house up, you got to figure it out. And so that was his budget. And I remember asking him, I was like, you sure you don't want to just get like a house? And he's like, I never thought about a house. I'm like, yeah, you can rent houses, man. Like, it's a thing. And he's just like,
it's a thing,
I don't know if I can afford that. I was like, okay. And I knew that those 2 had been through some financial trouble. I definitely found out a lot more about that situation.
She even talks about him like he's stupid, right? Like, it's a thing. Like, you can rent a house. It's a thing, man. You know what I mean? Like, she talks about him like he's stupid. By the way, have you guys hit the thumbs up? Hit the thumbs up, please. But yeah, she literally speaks as if he's like incapable.
And in the newspaper recently,
Duper's Delight. Look at her there. Between the scratching of her face and the way her face lights up here, she is duping the delight. Duper's Delight. Life hack, you can rent a house.
more about that situation in the newspaper recently.
Okay, so prior to the newspaper, how did you know he was in financial difficulty?
Because when I went to that house, everything in there is very, 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 very nice. It looks like it all comes with a very expensive price tag.
Now, I totally disagree. Do you guys disagree? I disagree. I don't think the house looked like it was very, very, very nice. It wasn't very centered around having 2 toddlers and a baby on the way. You know, it was set up more like adultish, but I don't think everything looked very, 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 very nice. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Batgirl.
And I didn't say anything to him about it, but I could kind of tell then where I was like just looking at everything like, how do you guys afford this? And then he has that car. I don't even know how much that car costs, but I bet it's
what car is
that Lexus. I'm sure that thing costs like 80 grand, but just like money, like everything just looked like it costs a lot of money in that house.
Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger. You know what I mean? Like, she sees money. Like, I've never walked in somebody's house and was like, oh, this looks like money. Oh, that car looks like money. First off, Chris had a fantastic job. Chris made a lot of money. And Shanann made off pretty well, too. Now, I don't agree with MLMs by any means. But, you know, they were okay. They were comfortable. She's gone as far to be like, money. It was sparsely furnished, in my opinion. Anyway, I didn't care for it at all. Dining chairs were not suitable for toddlers. It looked like a staged house. It did look like a staged house. You know, it definitely did. She's eccentric, and that has been established. Gary, I know you're a fan of her, and I'm a fan of you, so I'm going to respect you. But, you know.
You probably have a decent idea of how much money he makes.
Yeah, and it's not enough money to pay for all that. Not even close.
Did you have any idea of what Shanann did for a living or how much money she might have made?
So what is she implying here? Like, yeah, and it's not enough for all that, not even close. Like, what are you implying?
I mean, I had an idea. I would consider her like a sales rep. I don't know how else to describe that. For the company that she worked for. And I don't know exactly how much she made. He said that she was really competitive and she liked to try to keep up with him. He's like, she gets close sometimes. So I don't know how much those two brought in. I mean, off the top of my head, if I could guess, probably somewhere around like $140K a year.
Dude, I don't know about any of you, but $140K a year sounds pretty comfortable to me. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Because I don't know exactly how much he makes. And I don't know exactly how much she makes, but based just off of like what I know about the oil field, like, yeah, I would say that's probably an accurate estimate.
So even if they're making, let's just use the figure $100,000, they're living above their means or below their
Oh my God, like
way too much.
way
Did he ever
too.
discuss with you any of those issues?
I mean, a little. I mean, I didn't know about the bankruptcy or any of that till I read on the newspaper about that. But I think he was really frustrated with the situation. He told me, it's like, I feel like my paycheck goes in my bank account and I just watch it go like this. He's like, but it doesn't have to. He's like, she makes it like that. And I was just
was he resentful for that?
I don't know if he was resentful. I just think he was frustrated by the fact that they could be doing a lot better financially. And she, from the vibe that I got, had really bad spending habits.
So she was.
Imagine sitting here and saying all this when knowing this woman's deceased. Colorado, I think it is a little more pricey there. Leave her mark. What is she, a cat spraying? From what the guy said that had her job right before her, NK made way more than CW. Really? Yeah, that's true. I mean, they had a lot of, listen, I think we are all aware that MLMs will drain you. And we do know that Shanann was buying a lot of her own products back, right? But imagine having this conversation so nonchalantly knowing you're there because this woman is now deceased. Lord, have mercy.
The spender, the car, hers or his?
I think it's hers.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that that's hers.
Do you know what other car they might have?
Well, I mean, his APC pickup truck.
And that's
it, I think.
That's owned by Anadarko, though, right?
Yeah. But so I don't think they own any other vehicles as far as I know. I think it's just that thing.
And Anadarko doesn't. Just
that thing. Like now, because the car is Shanann's, is a thing. I know you have, Gare. I know. She probably made a lot, but spent a lot spent a lot to make a lot. Yes, that's how MLMs work.
Doesn't allow him to drive that on his own personal time, right? No. So he's just got one vehicle.
Yep.
And it's a very expensive Lexus. And then they live in a pretty expensive house.
It's a huge house.
Yeah.
I was very taken back when I saw it. I was just like, whoa. How
and
do you guys?
Fixtures inside caused you to pause.
Everything was just like.
And then you mentioned today.
Imagine pausing because the house looks expensive and you're a cheap side chick. You know what I mean? You're literally in this man's home having an affair, and all you can think about is how expensive the house looks. Sicko.
You read something about bankruptcy.
Yep.
What did you read?
That those guys filed bankruptcy for a lot of money.
Who are those guys?
To that couple.
Okay.
That couple. Now, she refuses to say Shanann's name. I don't know if you guys picked up on that yet.
In 2015. Oh, Shanann and Chris
Thanks.
filed bankruptcy in 2015.
Okay. And you said for a lot of money. Do you recall the amount?
No, because it was different in each of the newspapers, and I don't know which one to believe. So hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, I didn't know that.
Let's go just back to him and the financial. He tells you he has a concern enough to at least express something to you that he's frustrated with the way she spends, or he's upset with working so hard and never having any money, and she's kind of she's the responsible party for spending most of the money.
I pretty much got that vibe. I mean, he just told me, he's like, we're house broke all the time. I was just like, that's unfortunate. And I asked him, I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, the reason I ask him this is because if I get in a relationship with somebody, I want to know like what kind of baggage that they have. I think that's important if I walk into a situation where I'm like,
hey, what kind of baggage do you have? Oh, well, I have a pregnant wife and 2 toddlers. Yeah, you were concerned, all right.
I have good credit and I have all these things that I've been building, and you don't have your stuff together. Like, what are we going to do with this? And it's important for your long-term thing. So I'm preparing. And so I just asked.
So she admits that she's preparing for a long time thing with him, right? Right there. She admits she's preparing for a long time thing with him. She obviously did not like her. From what I read, the house payment was, $2,500 a month. The bankruptcy paid off medical bills, student loans, and furniture. Yep. She had no idea he was married and with his wife.
I was like, well, do you have 401k? And he was like, He's like, yeah, I do have that. And then I asked him, I was like, I didn't ask him like how much debt they had or anything, but I just said, is your lifestyle sustainable? And he was like, no. And I was like, how long do you think that's going to take? He's like, I don't know, but it's not sustainable.
And like Cheryl Lynn will talk about.
I can't stand her. So she already looking at the amount of child support. I believe so, without a doubt. I believe she was completely planning a life with him. And she was doing so, knowing of Shanann, knowing of all of it. Like I said, they did a really good breakdown. I guess we can keep on this. No 401k is a deal breaker for you, Grouchy Mama. I'm so broke, I don't give a shit. I just want love. Love will make it together. I never thought the house looked like kids lived there. Either did I. Yeah, like, how long was their fling? She's claiming it was only from June. He unalived his family in August. So within 2 months, that's what you're asking? That's what you're talking about? Oh, I like that. You're sweet, Gary. Oh, you're a good man. All right.
Anthony Brown says in his interview that he saw them having what seemed like a very close conversation in a hallway about 5 months prior to the murders, which would have been around March. We know that Shanann and Chris took a trip to San Diego from June 22nd until June 26th.
Oh, is that you, my friend Booberry? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
And the next day when she got back,
what was that?
22nd until...
Promise, I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. I don't like playing games unless it's role-playing, wink. Bitch, you are talking to a married man that is having an affair, but you like loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated? This is what I don't understand about these females, right? These females that meet men that are in relationships, and then you spend your entire relationship with them being insecure. K and C. You're about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. Bullshit. He's married. Idiot. Ugh.
June 26th. And the next day when she got back on June 27th is when she left for North Carolina.
I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we like, but I will make it happen. You think you're the only one addicted right now? I'm so hooked on you. So this is like, all right, so she's playing fucking games. And we, as a female, we know these games, right? Hard to get. I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we like, but I will make it happen. Because you know he's married. You know he's married.
As you can see, these texts are dated June 27th, the day that she left, and June 29th. And if you can see by the content, it looks like things are already pretty hot and heavy. In addition to that, you have this super sappy birthday card that Chris gave Nicole dated July 3rd. Why does this matter? I think it's very important when they met July 3rd.
The card is very sappy. I don't know about any of you, but so a lot of people, I mean, as we've learned from the May and Morbid thing, a lot of people do move relatively quickly in a new relationship, right? And that's a major turnoff to me. Like, I don't want your sappy fucking card after a month of supposedly dating. I don't want that. Do you want that? I don't want that. From the sounds of it, Chris would have moved up the chain in the oil business sooner rather than later. They all spoke how smart he was. You lose them the same way you got them. They were together only about 6 to 8 weeks, supposedly. That's nothing. Didn't even really know each other. Right. The Wasps were $70K in debt when the murders occurred. I dated a guy who was recently divorced and he was over $1K in debt on sleeping pills, etc. It was too much for me. Don't bottle your feelings. I'm going to try not to, Gary. I'm going to try not to. He would totally get a kitchen tat. That's it. I want a tattoo for my birthday. I'm trying. All right.
Why does this matter? I think it's very important when they met, when they started talking, and when they started this relationship, especially in light of her Google searches, which we will touch on in a little bit. I do think it's interesting that in all these interviews, they don't ask her when her contract started with Anadarko. I do know from someone who works there that the contracts usually go in 6, 12, or 18-month stints, but I don't know which one that she had.
What happened?
She tells them that they weren't intimate until the last week of June, she believes, and then she stops to giggle inappropriately about
The last week of June, right? But she sent in text about, oh, it is. Oh, I don't like playing games unless it's role playing. Wink, wink. That's right, they did. And then the Rusheks got the money, the Watts wanted some of it. And a new relationship, the question should be, are you married, children, relationship, et cetera, and how much debt baggage? Well, she wanted to know about the debt baggage because she knew that he was pregnant, that he had a pregnant wife and children. She's, ugh.
some mosquito that's bothering one of the agents. So now if you take everything into account that you have from the coworker Anthony Brown and then both of their mouths, you've got anywhere from March to July when the relationship starts. And that brings us to the Google searches, because even though these aren't in the interviews, these are still really important.
Yeah. And 2017 and 2018, 2017, Nicole Kessinger's Googling Chris Watts, and 2018, Shanann Watts. What could explain that? That's bizarre. That's very bizarre.
And they've been a really hot topic as far as this relationship goes. So in the discovery, it has that NK Googled Chris on August 3rd, 2017, Shanann in September of 2017, and then Shanann again in January of 2018. So let's take a look at what she would have seen when she Googled them on those days.
Let's see.
The first deleted search that's referenced in Discovery is a deleted search of Chris from August 3rd, 2017. All of the following are public posts that NK would have seen when she looked up Chris that day. As you know, a lot of her posts are public, and she also tags Chris in a lot of them. They all reference the girls, she and Chris, and what she does for a living. I mention that because during this interview, agents specifically ask NK what she knows about Shanann and what she does for a living.
So, how do you explain that? She did study on proof. Has finally reached its highest level. Currently, you'll be getting a nice gift from me this Christmas, Gary. Why didn't Ellie look into this? See, that was somehow involved. She probably encouraged him to free himself. I think she did, absolutely. Yep. Researching them. She was Googling everything. My opinion, NK was watching Shanann on her Facebook Lives. Who remembers the one where Shanann says someone was sending angry emojis? That's right, Mrs. Peacock. And listen, if you lived around their area, which Nicole did, most people knew about Shanann.
As usual, NK steps back from that question and acts very confused, says she's not really sure what she does for a living or how she'd describe it. And finally, it's very passive aggressive how she describes it. And she finally kind of concedes to say that she might call her a sales rep, but she's not really sure. So again, if you look at the length of time she's been researching them and then what information was available to her, it's just more deception that's clear when she should be focused on a pregnant mom and 2 children that are missing.
Oh, I agree with that.
The next search that's deleted in there is when she searched Shanann Watts on September 1st, 2017. So I went back to see if there was anything significant that happened around that time or if it was just a random search. So it turns out that when Shanann had her neck surgery was on August 29th of 2017. And she had more posts than usual at that time. And if you remember in the book, we talked about it in one of the videos, I can't remember which one, Cadle makes a comment that when she's talking to Chris, they talk about the fact that NK has researched this family online for a while. So here are the posts from August 29th, 30th, 31st, and September 1st when NK would have done her search. These were all public and ones that NK would have seen when she looked her up. There's even one dated August 30th of 2017 where Chris is posting for Shanann on her wall, giving everyone an update on how the surgery went and saying that she's in pain but still trying to help people.
Right. So she was definitely researching them. To see when you watch these videos, I just linked them right here. You will see more and more that there is, so many red flags here when it comes to Nicole Kessinger. I actually think my favorite of these was the second one that they did about her. Part 3, this one. They did a fantastic job.
The full status of his marriage and relationship. And as you'll remember from video
Oh,
one,
stop it, Gare.
Nicole Googled Chris Watts on August 3rd, 2017, and Shanann Watts on September 1st, 2017, and January 7th, 2018. These were deleted searches.
And he didn't have a wedding ring on his finger. And every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either. And then
So here she is claiming that she didn't know. She didn't know that he was married, that he had kids or anything. But she searched them. She knew. She fucking knew.
one day he told me that he had 2 kids. I was like, that's pretty cool. And started telling me about his kids.
That sounded like a sarcastic comment.
No, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. It was like right around Father's Day too. So.
Oh, he's a dad. I thought it was cute. A young woman like her that doesn't have children, that is financially settled, prepared for her future, thinking of her future, asks men about 401ks. I highly doubt she found it adorable that he was a father.
So whenever that is in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not good with holidays.
He told me he had kids, and then it was Father's Day shortly after
Okay.
that. So that's what I do know. And I was like, I thought it was cute. And then he's telling me about him. He's pretty excited about him. And then he mentioned that he did have a significant other. And then he told me that.
Look how she says a significant other. I believe she's 34. Significant other. No, he had a wife. And I don't know about you all, but that is one thing that absolutely confused me and really, really got me wrapped up in this case, is that he was a great father. He was a great father. Well, because it shows a soft side, a caring side, a loving side. As a single mom, I find men with children attractive, obviously. But that's what blew my mind, is I did see him as such a loving, hands-on, great father. So it was really hard to comprehend how he then turned around and snuffed the life out of them.
Those two were in the process of a separation.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
To say his wife. She refuses to say wife, and she refuses to say Shanann.
And then I think he told me his kids' names pretty quick, but to be honest with you, on an exact date of when that happened, I don't know.
I don't think it's really necessary to spend any more time on this topic. I think it's clear she was well aware of Shanann and the girls. In part one, the investigators briefly touched on when the relationship started. They circle back to it here.
But at that point, we just took it to his phone because I just felt it was better that way. And we just continued to talk, and then
Let me go back to the park. Where's the park?
it's down the street from my house.
So the park down the street from her house is now the park? Absolutely agree, Jay Renee. The park that she's referring to now is the park that Cadle is now claiming Chris brought the girls to while meeting Nichol there. So she's claiming at this point, Cadle, 5 years in, is claiming that Nichol had met the girls and was around the girls at this park. Do you guys believe it? I don't believe it. Do you guys believe it? They were separating, but Shanann was pregnant. That's what Chris told her. Yes. She's lying. Connie, you think she's lying? She did look Shanann up a whole year. Chris first, then Shanann.
East Lake number 3.
Your house
Yes.
in Northglenn?
Yes.
And that was in the June timeframe.
Yeah, or the beginning of July. It was right around my birthday. So sometime at the very end of June or the beginning of July.
Okay. And that's the first meeting you had outside of work?
Yeah.
basic conversation for a first date?
I mean, we kept it pretty simple, I guess, you know. I don't even remember everything we talked about. We
Sure.
were there for a few hours.
What was Shanann, 5 months pregnant, guys, at the time of the murder? I think she was 4.5, 5 months pregnant. They knew that it was a boy. They were planning a baby shower. See, she's claiming that her and Chris barely knew each other, but look at this birthday letter.
Right.
Hold on, let me see. I mean, when you look at that, it's like, yeah, you knew each other. All right. So for those who can't see it, such as myself in the video, this sums up you. Big things will happen this year. Dreams will come true. That smile, that stare, that laugh, that giggle gets me every time. You are truly an amazing, inspirational, and electric woman that takes my breath away every time I see you. You are wonderful. Don't ever stop being you. Happy birthday. So she's painting this narrative that they just started talking and they just got to know each other, and, you know, but yet he's writing birthday cards like this for her. I don't know. I mean, then again, we got, you know, a man that drops a couple K on a woman he's never met in person. So I guess, yeah, I guess it depends what kind of man you are. I guess it's not fair enough to say he, without a doubt, we're deeper in a relationship than that. All right, never mind.
Understand so if I ask about conversation, what I'm looking for, was he talking about his family during any of these meetings? Those are the kind of, I understand, you know, whatever you guys were talking about, relationship, your life, your interests, those things, that we don't need to know that. What I'm interested in is knowing is when he brings up his children, when he brings up his wife, when he brings up financial information, when he brings up his home, when he brings up anything that may have been, and it's been a few days, so you've had a chance to reflect on
8 weeks at this point.
some articles that you may have read, and you know, unfortunately, that you're in a situation where somebody has been murdered. And that information, when you look backwards in your memory with the conversation.
Yeah, Jay Renee. And the sad part is him and Shanann planned for this baby. They planned for Niko, and he would have had a son. And what man with 2 daughters wouldn't want a son? Well, she also claims she didn't know that Shanann was pregnant until after the disappearance, which we know is bullshit. Look on the screen. Just take that in for a minute. Don't take it in as hard as I am, because I'm gonna cry. But who would have saw this coming? Look at them babies. Look how beautiful Shanann is. Look how happy Chris looks. The organization, the taking family photos, the innocence of these babies. How the could you do it? I don't know. I don't know. It breaks my heart. And you got this woman, speaking of police right now, so damn nonchalantly. Like she's at a coffee shop with friends, right? Not like she's a possible witness to the most unthinkable crime you can think of. No, more like she's just with her friends, having a drink. There's no real, like, and who am I to say how one would respond, okay? I don't know. I luckily have never been in this position. I've never been in this position. Well, that's not true, LMP, because we in the discovery, you can read Shanann's messages to Chris that says, you know, you wanted this baby. I thought we were happy. And she's shocked that he's now saying he doesn't want this baby when she's so far along. So she cancels the baby shower and she's heartbroken and devastated and doesn't know what to do.
Conversations with Chris, anything that he might have said that would be relative to that. And I'm not just, even if one day he was mad and he said, I want to do this or do that, anything like that. If he ever made any kind of statements that you were like, whoa, that was weird. Or why would he say that? Or why did he mention that? Do you understand what I'm
No,
looking
I
for?
completely understand. I just feel like some of this happened so long ago that I can't tell you like the exact words of the exact conversation at the exact time and place, because it's like we had a lot of conversations. I mean, we talked every single day. So it's
Yeah, I mean, really 6 weeks, because at this time, right, Nicole wants the officers to believe that they were only communicating and together for 6 weeks. For 6 weeks. She can't remember everything, and I get it. They probably spoke a lot. Yeah, new love, excited, raha, all right, fine. But she's holding back details, that's for sure. And maybe that's because she didn't want to be brought into it. Maybe because she knew that this was national news and she was forever going to be judged and attacked as the mistress. I don't know.
So if there's
like I'm trying to help you guys with the stuff that's more current. I can give you guys a lot more like detail and exact times. But when you're asking me about something that happened 6 weeks ago and exactly what was said, it's like, I mean, I'm sure I can give you a general idea, but to be honest with you, like to pinpoint exact words, it's not going to happen.
You know what? I don't think Shanann had a cleaning bug. I think Shanann had a very minimalist lifestyle. I don't think the kids had a lot of toys. I don't think they, not that they didn't have a lot of toys, but not in the living areas, right? Like it was very showcasey, but she was a showcasing woman, right? She was MLM. Look at my beautiful home. Look at my beautiful family. Look how perfect we are. Fit in pretty well in society. He was content to go through the motions, routines of parenting until something better came along. I think I know who you are, Bumblebee. I think I know who you is. They fit in pretty well in society. He was content to go through emotions, routines of parenting until something better. I don't think he was expecting better. I don't think he was expecting better. Oh, I'm a dad's girl too. My dad's my best friend.
She briefly discusses how much they had in common, that Chris was a gearhead and she was always interested in cars. She talks a lot about their common interest in health and fitness. She also talks about in these interviews how Chris is an introvert, but around her, he said he could be himself. One of our commenters on video 1 had one of the best comments I've ever seen about NK, and I don't have permission to say her name, but she probably knows who she is. But she just is reiterating what I think as well. I don't know how many of you have either seen the movie or read the book.
How many of you have met a woman like that? Like, oh, I brought out the best in him, and he was just so in love with me, and he could be himself around me. In 6 weeks? In 6 weeks? Really? Even when our kids were little. Oh, yeah, I couldn't. I wish I could be like that, but I'm not. It's like the movie Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. I love it. And it takes place in Missouri, where I'm from. So I like that author. But anyway, NK reminds me so much of something that Gillian Flynn describes in the book. So in the book, the main character is having an affair on his wife, and Gillian Flynn describes the cool girl. So I'll read you this little excerpt and you let me know what you think. Being the cool girl means I'm a hot, brilliant, funny woman who adores football, poker, dirty jokes, and burping, who plays video games, drinks cheap beer, loves threesomes and anal sex.
Who does this sound like, by the way? Loves burping and, hey, Merry Griffmas. Hello, hello. Yeah, I know a few like that too. I knew it. That's probably what everyone thinks during the honeymoon phase. I can't stand the author. I knew for a while, by the way. I just didn't say anything. The movie was fantastic. I don't know the author.
and jams hot dogs and hamburgers into her mouth like she's hosting the world's biggest culinary gangbang while somehow maintaining a
Whoa.
size 2 because cool girls are, above all, hot. Hot and understanding. Cool girls never get angry. They only smile in a chagrined, loving manner and let their men do whatever they want. Go ahead, shit on me. I don't mind. I'm the cool girl. I think I'm going to try that for like a month and see where it gets me. I'm just kidding. Many times during the interview, he refers to the relationship as an 8-week relationship. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but she always makes it a point to correct him and state it was only 6 weeks. He then goes into more detail about where they spent their time. She says they always hung out at her place and goes on this long rambling thing about her space versus everyone else's space.
Yeah, so she does do that too. So as you guys can see, again, here's the video. For those of you who haven't seen these series, it's very damning. I mean, it just is. There's so many red flags. I know there are people like Gary, like myself for a while, that defended NK and wanted to believe, but there's just something off here. And like I said, I don't think she physically helped him, but I do think she mentally. I think she mentally was pushing him towards divorce, towards leaving. It was mentioned that when he was going to Colorado to meet up with, not Colorado. Oh my goodness, where? It was mentioned that at first she was like, yeah, make it work with your wife. You know, I really want you guys to work if you can. But then she messaged him while he was at the airport and said, I don't want you to go. And I believe that. I believe all of that. I've always thought what father would hide his unalived children, yet not be the person who unalived them. He'd have to be the first ever. What was also odd that she that's deep. You got to remember, while he was in the police station, he actually circled where he believed the girls to be. Like, he knew exactly which one was in which oil tank. I don't know. It's bizarre. This is their trip. Oh, these scenes.
Our phone call records.
So I'm
Oh, this is where she says that she broke her SIM card. I mean, come on. You just happen to snap your SIM card in half. The fuck out of here. She knew she'd be part of an investigation.
gonna put
So the time and date of the phone call records and then our text message.
Ted, we get photos of him.
But I deleted our
We get photos
text.
of him.
Off of
Would you
that.
mind if we got his photos that he sent to you?
Oh, well, there'll be in that text message thing.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else used
No,
that you
no,
guys
no,
were
no,
sending.
no,
It was
no.
all just text messages.
Yeah,
Okay. So it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
pretty much.
But
Everything is in the text and the phone call records,
so
like all of it.
because we don't have it on tape, we discussed prior to turning the tape on Tuesday, which would have been the 14th of August. You had read some newspaper articles on the 13th and the 14th that regarded this case. You had also had a conversation with Chris at some point during the day on Monday. And on Tuesday, because of what you found, specifically what you said was, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found out that his wife was pregnant.
And yes.
And you did not know that prior. And you found that out via the newspaper articles, and that caused...
Yes. I mean, who believes her? I can't get over it. No. Yes. I didn't know. She's an odd one. That latest phone call the night before definitely has something to do with it. And that's when Shanann was coming home, right? That's when Shanann was coming home from her trip. So she knew that Shanann would be back in the house with Chris. That meant that they would be able to spend less time together and see each other as much. And, you know, he was going to be back to live in his perfect family in his nice house with his beautiful wife and beautiful kids. And, Yep. Yep. And that definitely hit her with some insecurities, right? I mean, who wouldn't? You're planning to marry this man. You're looking at wedding rings, and his family's coming back home. And you know that they are going to go back to their everyday life. Your fun is over. This is why you don't be the mistress. This is why you go for men that are not married. Hey, Xan. Just joining. I avoided a CW case like the plague at the time and since because I just couldn't stomach it. This woman gives me all kinds of opinions. It is a tough one. Breaks my heart watching her walk into her home where she thought she was safe, and those were her final moments. And they'll always be played out on the internet. Always. Yeah, that's the other thing. I forgot about that. She also tells Chris what messages to delete. You don't believe the girls were there? I think a lot of people were saying that as well. That's the other thing. He spent that weekend. Remember, he lied and went to the dirty dog or whatever with her and pawned the kids off on a babysitter. And oh my gosh, he was so disconnected from his family at this point that it's literally heartbreaking. I don't know. I'm with you, Zane. This was Saudi dog. He's a dirty dog. They went to Saudi dog. This was absolutely a one of those cases that I don't know about all of you, but it changed my perspective on a lot of things, on people, on the way the internet portrays a happy life, the picket fence and all that, and then you find out that it's not what you thought it was. And yeah, this was just a devastating case. Again, here is the link to these channels that did these unmasking videos. I believe it was about hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. All right, sorry. That would cross my mind. That absolutely creep picture of the doll. There's a part on the recording of the truck. You see him picking up someone. Absolutely there. Yeah, the girls were alive that morning. At least one was. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That footage and that discovery is actually what led to the police going to the prison to interview Chris again. It does. It's just creepy. It's just creepy, Mrs. Peacock. And it just makes you think, I mean, honestly, I know people hate Chris, obviously, but I seen him as like a picture perfect father. It blew my mind. He appeared to be hands-on. He appeared to love the girls. And I know a lot of people don't like me saying it, but in my opinion, he was more involved and hands-on with the girls than Shanann was. And that's just my opinion of it. I think he had more of that fatherly touch and that, I don't know, that connection with them than even Shanann did. And I think that's what makes it a little more baffling. Now, don't go attacking me for that opinion, all right? I know we're not allowed to say anything, but that is how I felt. And it was just hard to believe. Don't get me started on him. He was a weak, selfish sociopath. Weak because he couldn't do the more human thing and face a failed marriage. They do say it's the quiet ones. Oh, absolutely. They never saw it coming. Do you feel it was for appearances? I don't know. I mean, even when Shanann used to host like the MLM parties or have friends over, she always sent Chris to entertain the children. Chris was good at entertaining and being around the kids. I don't know. Then again, does a good father dispose of them? the way he did, who knows? It's terrifying. But unfortunately, because I like to wait last minute to do everything in life, I have to go get my Thanksgiving fixins and go battle the crazies. I am thinking about going to our local like Amish market. I might go live from there. If you guys want to, come along with me. If not, whatevs. I got to go anyway. Then he told us story about how the girls got back up after he first attempted. Oh, gosh, I know. I remember that. I remember Chris Coleman. And then we have Dorman, who recently took the lives of his 3 boys in a horrific way. And that's terrifying. I freaking hate turkey. I hate cooking turkey. I hate all of that. I don't want to do any of it. He strikes me as someone who was never told no as a child, young adult. Well, apparently he was such a good kid, he didn't need to be told no. I don't know. What I do know is I feel really bad for the Rusheks. I feel really bad for Shanann's loved ones, family, friends, for everybody who has to see that once again, this woman, this wannabe author, this lady who decided to befriend Chris and gain his trust to later make a book full of conspiracies and rumors, 5 years later, does it again. I don't know about any of you, but I could imagine if that were me and this was my family and my loved ones that she is doing this off of, I'd be furious. I'd be furious. I don't know if you all remember when Cadle made her first rounds, doing the same exact thing here, but it was full of like what fictional authors do. They dramatize everything, and that is exactly what Cadle did then, and it seems like that is what Cadle is doing now. Why, after all this time, is she bringing this all back out? I don't know. And then she's praising Armchair Detective in the book to top it off. And Robin Gere, he is worse, and he planned it. He planned it for months. He took a nap with those boys that day knowing he was going to take their lives. There's been some new updates in that. I'll go live about that tomorrow. There's been new updates in Coleman's case and trial and everything, and I guess we'll touch on that tomorrow. But yeah, I have to freaking adult now, and I don't want to adult at all. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, can you please hit the thumbs up? How does she, the mistress, get away with having her father? Well, she wasn't being interrogated, Zane. She was just a witness at that point. So it's not surprising that he'd be allowed in the room with her because, again, it was just talking. It wasn't interrogation. If she was being interrogated, yeah, it'd be weird. But in this case, she wasn't. So I understand why he was allowed in there. I know a lot of people didn't like it because they don't like her, but yeah, there's really nothing weird about that. Matter of fact, I think if it were me, I'd want my dad there with me too. Yeah, I definitely would want my dad with me there too. Blissful. Oh, horrific. It's horrific. So done with it. Oh, thank you, Gladys. Thank you for heeding my reminder. No, but she did have a name change. Well, it's not been confirmed if she's in witness protection, but she has had a name change and nobody knows it, but apparently Cadle does and says in this, I don't even know if we can call it a book, that she was going to expose her name, but then just decided not to. So I don't know how much I believe that. Do you guys believe that? I don't know. I don't believe it. I think Chris was a good kid because he was so desensitized to emotions. Oh, I'm happy you would like to see it. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go get ready. I hope you guys all come back to shop the Amish market with me. And I think I can finally maybe hear about the case. Oh, semi-protection for 2 years. Oh, cool, Connie. Am I that delayed that you guys are just now hearing me about that? That's a little concerning. But I'm glad you can hear me at all. All right, guys. So I will see you all back here. Well, those of you who want to come back here in a little bit. If you are prepping today, I hope your prepping goes easy. If you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner, I hope you remember that anybody you are inviting into your home is somebody in your love life that you don't need to impress. So relax. The house doesn't have to be spotless. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Just remember what the holiday's about and deep breaths. As I'm telling you, I'm also telling myself because I'm looking around and yeah, I don't want to do any of this, but here we are, right? We got to do it. All right. So let's motivate each other. Let's go. Motivation. We got this. And yeah, I will see you all back shortly. Please hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to send a tip, it is greatly appreciated. And I hope to see you back here in a little bit. Have a great day.